Bro spent 5 years speedrunning a dead impossible game while his girlfriend yeeted him out of her life for being a broke bum. But joke's on her, the apocalypse just drag and dropped those brutal game mechanics straight into reality. While the normies are screaming and running from nightmare fuel, our guy sinks his physical body to his broken, god-tier avatar. A giant bug monster thinks it found an easy snack, but he turns it into modern art with a single board swing of his blade. Starting with 13 hidden traits, yeah, we are just getting warmed up. Smash cut to a blazing desert hellscape where the locals are sweating buckets fighting off a kaiju and each other. Smack in the middle of this chaos is our MC bulldozing through the human army, like a one-man wrecking ball. The beast is literally exhausted just trying to keep up with him. Internal monologue, screaming. His heart feels like a ticking time bomb, and breathing is like inhaling broken glass. He can't tell if that is blood or sweat dripping off him, but his senses are screaming that this pain is way too high definition for a PC game. Suddenly, a UI floods his vision. Ding. Hidden traits activated. Iron-blooded Lord's heart. Weapon master dexterity. Surrounded by an entire army, he realizes this nightmare is actually happening. Right before eating a fatal hit. Game over. Cut to the real world. Our boy leans back in his gamer chair, absolutely roasting the devs for this trash-tier game design. His real name is Park, a name meant for a wise man, but his life right now is a total flop. He rage quit his job months ago, and now his entire existence is just rotting in his room like a hardcore gaming goblin. Reality check. He has been obsessed with this specific game for 5 years. The login screen for Pangea still flexes that vintage slogan promising to grant one wish to anyone who clears the game. That bait hooked the pro players at first, but the difficulty was so toxic. Everyone rage quit. Now Park is the last player standing, drifting through a dead server like a ghost. He remembers the forums, players crying about losing all their gear, getting one-tapped by bosses, and teammates suddenly turning into enemies. And the named NPCs, total run-enders, getting marked by them, means permadeath, character deleted, start from zero. Park is convinced. The devs are just trolls who built a torture chamber no one is supposed to beat. Having just lost 5 years of grinding, and 8 out of 15 legendary items, he feels completely hollowed out. Then, a system window cheerfully pops up, character deleted. But here is the kicker, it compensates him with a staggering 1.6 million soul points. Soul points are the currency for buying talents in a new build based on your old character's value. Since the cap is 10,000 points per talent, Park realizes he is basically Elon Musk, rich in game, and can max out almost every skill tree. He usually mains magic, but he is too depressed to care. Figuring he will never beat this trash game anyway, he decides to just troll the character creator before deleting the app forever. This nihilism, it comes from a brutal memory 3 months ago. His girlfriend of 5 years dropped the hammer on him at a cafe, saying she needed a man with a corporate future, not a basement dweller. She walked out, leaving him wrecked at the table. Fueled by pure spite, Park quit his job and went full hermit mode. Channeling that bitterness, he furiously mashes the random button on the stat screen, burning through hundreds of points like he is at a casino. Suddenly, jackpot. A hidden piece unlocks. A system message says, "Congrats, you are invited to Pangea." The air in his room gets heavy. A demonic voice echoes inside his skull, talking about burning worlds down. Park grabs his head, totally confused, and passes out cold on his keyboard. The monitor flashes a poetic red warning about creation, destruction, and finding happiness. Next thing he knows, he wakes up face first in scorching sand. Crack, a whip hits his back. A slaver is barking at him to get up, threatening to feed him to the high dragon if he slacks off. Shaking, Park looks around and the horror sets in. He has been isekai'd straight into the game. He scrambles up, joining a line of miserable slaves staring up at the high dragon. And this thing, it is a mountain of ugly, like a dinosaur made of scrap metal, and pure nightmare fuel. Time to check the stats. He summons his status window. Look at this build, it is absolutely cracked. Strength, stamina, agility, intelligence, and magic. Everything is sitting at an impossible level 12. That is way past the game's usual hard cap of 10. His talent tree is endless, maxed out in everything from high-level swordsmanship and elemental magic to archery and leadership skills. He is also stacking absurd hidden traits like Weapon Master Giant's Resistance, Gluttony, and Great Sage. Then a red alert flashes: Ahemia collapse at 6.12%. The system explains that as this collapse spikes, the barrier between in real life and the game dissolves, with the first major glitch hitting at 10%. Before he can even wrap his head around his god-tier status, the desert explodes into chaos. Someone screams that the Desert Queen's forces just shredded the non-aggression pact and launched a massive ambush. Our boy spots a girl riding a giant beast and instantly clocks her as the Snake Princess Shirley. Boom, a main quest window aggressively pops up, with one simple objective: survive. The nightmare twist. Failing this quest means permanent death, erasing him from both the game and the real world. A storm of arrows rains down instantly, deleting several slaves standing right next to him. He freezes totally shell-shocked until his new trait Iron-Blooded Lord's Heart kicks into gear. This passive skill nukes his panic, forcing his brain into a state of unnatural icy calm. Realizing that freezing up is a one-way ticket to the grave, he dives for a loose sword. An enemy soldier rushes him, but our boy sidesteps the charge effortlessly and turns the guy into a human skewer. The second the enemy hits the sand, the hidden trait, Weapon Master, roars to life. Another warrior laughs, calling him a trash slave, but he just scoops up a spear and casually slices the dude in half. The weapon feels like an extension of his own arm. He weaves through an incoming strike, literally seeing the sword's trajectory mapped out in glowing neon lines. A nearby scream cuts through the noise. People are confused why a random slave is clutching up when the main raid team is already down. Meanwhile, system notifications are spamming his vision. Thanks to his dexterity trait, his weapon proficiency is speed running through the levels. Both sword and spear mastery hit level 5, then instantly glitch up to level 6. Since 10 is the absolute max, our guy realizes he is casually flexing the skills of a legendary knight. He mentally blesses his broken build, knowing it is a miracle he hasn't been wiped yet. But staring down the 500 enemies still swarming the field, he seriously doubts how this quest expects a solo carry. Cut to the palace throne room, where the queen is chilling with her royal guards. A scout rushes in with the bad news. The desert expedition was a total flop. The queen turns to the snake princess, demanding immediate damage control. If word gets out that their city sat this one out, the central continent will put the blame squarely on them. She orders the princess to march straight to the Coltsman Desert, delete all survivors and scrub the evidence. Do that, and she promises to finally lift the princess's curse. The princess snatches that deal immediately. Back in the desert, the snake princess is currently doing a fantastic job of deleting every living thing in her path. A minion reports that one incredibly stubborn slave is still refusing to die. That slave is our boy, who just dinged level 2, fully restoring his HP, mana, and stamina right before the boss music starts playing. The princess lands and clears the area. Our boy scans her stats instantly. Isabella Vandershen, level 8. Debuffed by a desert curse that locks her in this zone. He starts sweating bullets. In a game hard capped at level 10, a level 8 is basically an endgame raid boss. Fighting her one-on-one is a guaranteed game over. She walks up, giving him props for his skills before powering up a killshot aura, facing imminent deletion. Our boy remembers he is a hardcore gamer who thrives on exploiting broken mechanics. Flashing a cocky, desperate grin. Right as she winds up, he casually asks if she wants that queen's curse removed. She slams the brakes on her attack instantly. She demands to know his identity. Channeling maximum charisma, he claims to be a saint, a reader of the stars who can guide her to freedom. The princess is visibly shook. Our boy is internally screaming at his own massive bluff. Saints are strictly NPCs game mechanics required for players to break past the level 10 cap. And only a star's blessing can cleanse her specific curse. The irony, he knows exactly what she needs, because he is the one who designed her character. He abandoned her at the spawn point years ago, leaving her trapped by that exact code. She asks for a name and he smoothly drops Randolph. The system locks it in as official. She cancels the execution, warning him not to cap and orders her squad to treat him like a VIP. A massive golden notification pops up. Survival quest complete. Rating beyond perfect. The constellations of fortune and battle are so hyped. His loot drops get a legendary upgrade. He secures a fragment of the broken golden rule, a high dragon soul, and the mythic Saint Michaela's sword. Our MC hits the sand, totally gassed, locking in 220 points, and cracking open the Hall of Fame. Jump cut to pure luxury, our guy's soaking in a 5-star bath, obsessing over his new gear. The High Dragon Soul summons a level 5 beast, while Michaela's sword is straight up broken. An early game cheat code needing 20 strength. Next, he inspects the Golden Rule fragment, which drops a cryptic hint about syncing reality and the game for 24 hours. But his chill session gets crashed by 3 maids marching in ready to scrub him down. He stammers out a request, feet only please. He's sweating bullets, realizing this is a trap set by Isabella's maids, since true saints are immune to thirst. He enters Zen mode, forcing himself to stay stone cold while ignoring the ladies. Then a red alert flashes: Pangea collapse at 7.6 to 6% actively, dissolving the wall between real life and the server. Before he can process what that implies, he pulls up the Hall of Fame rankings. Absolute shock. Sitting right under his number 1 spot are Gracia and Mint Choco as Tasty, his OG squad who supposedly retired years ago. Realizing they got dragged into this nightmare too, he spots the Holy Grail, the log out button. Ignoring the warning that logging off leaves his avatar defenseless, he makes his move. He snaps a finger at the door, ordering the staff out so he can commune with the stars. When one hesitates, citing the princess's orders, he drops a massive bluff, miss this cosmic meeting, and his saintly powers vanish, dooming their boss's salvation. Terrified, the maid bows out fast. Our boy exhales, bids a savage goodbye to this trash tier game, and smashes the logout button. His eyes snap open in his real-world bedroom, but the horror show isn't over. Outside, the city is an inferno. Monstrous beasts are casually strolling down Main Street. His phone blows up with emergency alerts, unknown attacks sweeping Seoul and Busan. Shaking like a leaf, he peeks out, locking eyes with a grotesque creature staring straight at him. He dives back into his room, losing his absolute mind over why game mobs are hosting an apocalypse in his neighborhood. Amidst the panic, a small, solid gold object clatters from his pocket. Our MC jolts awake in his gaming chair, gaslighting himself that the desert death trip was just a hyper-realistic nap. He enters full denial mode, convincing himself that getting sucked into a game is strictly for web novels, until he spots a little gold pouch, chilling on his desk. Panic spikes as he grabs it. He definitely didn't leave that there. Before blacking out, desperate, he checks his rig, only to find the Pangea homepage, wiped from the internet, replaced by a cold 404 error. But his digital crisis gets cut short by the sound of pure terror outside. He peeks through the blinds. Actual monsters are turning his block into an all-you-can-eat buffet, while cops scream into radios for backup against unknown threats. His phone blows up with alerts, confirming the apocalypse is officially online. The wall between reality and the game is gone. Knowing he can't fight kaijus with a keyboard, he dives into the gold pouch. He pulls out the High Dragon Soul and the broken Michaela's sword, totally clueless on how to equip gear without a mouse to double-click. Luckily, a system window flashes. The fragment of the broken golden rule is offering to sync reality and the game for a 24-hour trial. With beasts roaming the streets, he hits accept immediately, fusing his real body with his god-tier game avatar Randolph. Meanwhile, on the blood-soaked streets, a mother sprints clutching her child. The kid sobbing, begging to go home, and the mom tries to keep her calm. Just as a massive slab of concrete breaks loose from a skyscraper above, the mother shoves her child to safety, taking the fatal impact herself. A horrified bystander rushes in, and with her final breath, the mother begs the stranger to save her baby. The woman swears to protect the child, but freezes as a colossal bug monster locks onto her. Just as she accepts her permanent subscription to the afterlife, our MC crashes the party. One casual swing of his blade, and he turns the monster into modern art. The woman is stunned. She screams a warning as another beast sneaks up on his six, but he doesn't even blink. His new summon, the High Dragon, a 9-headed nightmare, vaporizes the bug, without him even turning around. Perched like a god on his dragon, he tells the woman to get on her feet, while she wonders if this is just a stress-induced hallucination. As the child weeps for their mother, our boy goes to work shredding the surrounding monsters like wet tissue paper. The crowd stands frozen, jaws on the floor, but the silence is a lie. This isn't a local disaster, it's a worldwide server wipe. Society is crashing hard across the globe, when out of nowhere, cracked-out warriors spawn in on the streets, shredding through bulletproof beasts like they are cutting wet tissue paper, and playing the hero for clout. Meanwhile, safe in his room, one guy watches the live stream on his phone, and it is none other than Massacre. He scoffs, practically rolling his eyes into the back of his skull, calling these so-called saviors total noobs for burning their precious golden rule fragments this early in the game. Massacre realizes the map and reality are fully syncing up, and figures whoever hoards the most fragments wears the crown in this broken new era. He pulls up the fresh survival leaderboards and locks eyes on rank 1, Randolph, sitting on a staggering 220 points. Massacre recognizes that gamertag instantly. Randolph, a phantom tier legend, the only tryhard crazy enough to push the Demon Realm Grand Expedition right to the final boss's doorstep before wiping. Massacre does the math. Randolph must have been summoned, inheriting every maxed out stat and perk from his main account, making him a walking nuke. Back in the game server, our protagonist chills in a Lux Desert spa, brain working overtime connecting the conspiracy dots. Monsters breaching the real world, players spawning as their avatars. It all clicks. His past losses weren't bad, RNG. During his last run at the Grand Expedition, his own NPC squad kept stabbing him in the back, and the difficulty spiked to impossible levels no matter the strategy. It wasn't a bug, it was a feature. Other summoned players were actively griefing his run, desperate to keep the game alive. He realizes he has a massive bounty on his head and hiding offline. Won't save either dimension. He needs to power level, fast, eyes burning with determination. He marches back to the Snake Princess. She is waiting, eager to know if he is done communing with the stars. He plays it cool, curse lifting, you got it. But there is a catch, a big one. She needs to smuggle him straight into the sanctuary. Isabella stares at him like he just asked for her kidney, calling him certifiably insane for trying to breach such a restricted zone. Our guy just smirks, claiming the stars demanded it. Truth is, he knows the meta. The second main quest requires a class change and the most broken OP build in the game. is hiding right inside that temple. Bingo. A system notification pings, officially triggering the class acquisition quest. Twilight hits the sanctuary as the Snake Princess goes full assassin mode, carving through the guard detail. In minutes. Watching her turn elites into modern art, our MC mentally wipes the sweat from his brow, thanking the gaming gods she is on his team. Rewind a few hours. When he demanded entry to the sanctuary, she looked at him like his brain was buffering. Completely stunned, he would want to raid a fortress locked down tighter than a vault. But the guy had a strategy. He knew the class change quest was incoming, and he was gunning for a hidden star class stashed inside. Using his past life knowledge, he knew he was the only player on the server with the exact GPS coordinates. He bluffed hard. I absolutely need that hidden star to fix you, he lied effortlessly, shutting down her security concerns by reminding her that royalty gets VIP access. Then came the brutal ultimatum. This is your only ticket out of this sandbox. On the outside, stone cold. Inside, he was shaking in his boots, knowing if she caught the lie, she would smear him across the pavement. Snapping back to the action, our boy announces, "We're here," pointing to a creepy set of stairs plunging underground. "Welcome to the holy ground." They descend and his HUD explodes with notifications. "Welcome to the hidden sanctuary," the system cheers, offering a side quest while screaming a red warning. Level 2, trash detected. He is way below the recommended level 8. The air is basically poison dark magic swirling everywhere, but his giant's resistance trait kicks in. Like a personal force field against the toxicity. A normal noob would have melted by now, but with the princess tanking for him, he feels godlike. He swipes away the exploration rewards. Eyes on the real prize. A wicked grin spreads across his face. He is here for the broken meta build. The princess smiles confident. He shuts that down immediately, dropping a hand on her shoulder, and announcing wrong way. She frowns, pointing at the bridge ahead. That's clearly a trap, meant to flush intruders down the drain. He smirks, teasing the lethal assassin. If she is visibly shaken, but she throws up a defensive wall, clapping back that she doesn't even know what the word fear spells. She is literally vibrating like a smartphone on silent mode, prompting him to cock a skeptical brow at her performance. She starts backpedaling hard, blaming a sudden phantom leg cramp, and insisting they need to scout a safer detour. Leaning into the cringe, our guy drops into a crouch, offering up a piggyback ride. She practically glitches out with pure offense, asking if he has a death wish, but he smoothly brings up that totally real leg injury, and the ticking clock. Come sunrise, when they find those guards sliced into confetti, the queen's trackers will be hunting them down. He keeps it real, hauling her is way faster than waiting for her shivers to stop. Completely shook, and rattling off 100 excuses about her independence, she reluctantly hops on. He tells her to grip tight, before yeeting himself straight off the cliff into the void. The princess screams her lungs out as they freefall, but boom, his mutation trait kicks in, letting him see the unseen. His sneakers slap against invisible stairs floating in midair, realizing they are casually strolling on sky. She is absolutely floored. How does a level 2 scrub know a cheat code path she didn't even know existed? Plus, he's chilling, not even breaking a sweat in a zone dripping with toxic mana. Noting her death grip on him, our boy flashes a smug grin, roasting her for having a secret acrophobia. She snaps at him to zip it. Internally, though, she is spiraling. How is he this zen around her killer aura? It isn't the cockiness of a warrior. It's the chill vibe of a dude hanging out with his bestie. When she presses him on, if they've met, he gets cryptic. "I've definitely seen you," he admits, "but you've never seen me." They finally touch down in a gorgeous meadow glowing with neon flowers, tucked behind a stealth barrier. Our boy spots the next boss fight, a massive guardian golem, rocking a glowing red core. Knowing this high-tier mob could send his low-level avatar straight to the respawn screen, with one breath he checks if her leg cramp is miraculously cured. She barks at him to shut his trap, and springs into action. Our guy watches in pure awe as she casually wrecks the hulking stone beast, taking it apart like Lego bricks with zero effort, even though he technically designed her build back in the day. Seeing a legit level 8 assassin go full tryhard mode leaves him shook. The system cheerfully pipes up, trying to push the rare Golden Maker class on him, offering to count her kills as his party XP. It is a busted top-tier job, but our boy hits decline instantly, eyes on the real prize. Before they can emote over the dub, a suffocating purple fog floods the zone. The princess looks around confused. A red alert notification screams the arrival of the Old King. Our boy realizes the nameless star's true bouncer. Old King Dramid has woken up to handle the trespassers. A colossal nightmare fuel entity resembling a massive snake slides into view. Right on cue, the system drops one last panic-inducing warning, loudly roasting our boy for being way below the recommended level 10. The Guardian's pressure is crushing, and the princess looks at him like he has actually lost his marbles, demanding to know if he expects her to solo that kaiju. Our boy waves it off, confidently promising that despite looking like a horror movie prop, The creature is actually chill and never attacks first. The universe immediately humbles him as the Guardian launches a lethal strike, straight at the princess. While she dodge rolls in panic, our boy is confused. Why is his supposedly helpful guide suddenly choosing violence? The Guardian booms that the challenger must catch these hands to prove their worth. The princess screams that she absolutely is not challenging nobody. The snake ignores her, accusing her of capping after she just dismantled the Watcher Golem, and swings again, declaring only the worthy leave alive. She screams at our boy to stop spectating and help. Watching the chaos, it clicks for him. In his last successful run, he cleared this zone as a max-level gigachad. Since he was basically a god, the Guardian rolled out the red carpet. Now that he is a squishy noob, the snake is defaulting to murder protocols. The princess is getting wrecked, her movements lagging from the toxic debuff. She curses herself for falling for a fake saint's trick, and is seconds away from being snake snacks. Just as the fatal blow lands, our boy commands Dromit to heal, dropping its true name. The monstrous Guardian freezes dead in its tracks as our boy drops a bombshell. His master Wilhelm is back in the game. But the beast just pauses before cracking up, absolutely losing it. It calls our boy a delusional maggot, ranting that Wilhelm was the GOAT, a superhuman legend worthy of ride-or-die loyalty, who definitely took a permanent dirt nap in the demon realm. The Guardian snaps its massive jaws open, ready to turn our protagonist into a crunchy mid-afternoon snack. Our boy doesn't flinch. He casually tells the monster to honor the contract. The beast freezes again, visibly shook that this random NPC-looking human knows about the top-secret magical NDA. Our boy gives himself a mental high five. According to the deep lore, whoever snags the star becomes the mountain's landlord, and the Guardian is magically leashed to their will. Breaking that deal, instant game over via death curse. Since the game's physics are still running the show, his wiki-level knowledge is the ultimate armor. The Guardian demands to know what kind of freak our boy actually is. With swagger on 100, our boy orders the giant to Uber him to the star, declaring the artifact itself will be the judge, jury, and executioner. The Guardian scoffs, warning him the star roasts scrubs, and will instantly turn a worthless worm into a pile of ash. Stone cold, our boy calls the beast out, asking if it's just terrified the star might actually swipe right and prove he's the new boss. The Guardian accepts the challenge, saying it'll happily give him a VIP escort to the altar. Dealing with a guy who knows the contract is super awkward, so the monster figures it'll just let the star do the dirty work. They pull up to the altar, and the princess stares jaw on the floor. Resting on the pedestal is a neon glowing skull. Our boy mentally clarifies that this isn't just bone, it's the face of goddess Leia, whose divine form was split into 32 pieces called stars, to act as magical batteries for future generations. He reaches out and yoinks the skull. Boom, a massive pillar of fire erupts, swallowing him whole. The princess screams in terror while the Guardian gloats, shouting that the cocky little bug got fried exactly like he deserved. But the smoke clears and our boy is standing there without a scratch, internally rolling his eyes at the drama queen monster. He knows the star's firewall only incinerates players trying to glitch past the boss fight. Since he technically beat the system with lore-accurate blackmail, he's in the safe zone. Now comes the real gamble. He knows an urban legend that grabbing the star with a blank character sheet unlocks a busted OP job class. The risk pays off big time. The system window goes crazy, converting his mana into Star Force and unlocking the Star Slash and Star Blessing skills. He officially bags the hidden class Star's Inheritor, a broken role that scales his power exponentially based on how many stars he collects. With the artifact fully synced to his stats, our boy turns to Isabella. He casually asks what her move is now that the curse is history. Still reeling from the light show, she admits she wants to ditch the desert and find her family. Our boy offers her a golden ticket to freedom, but slaps a massive condition on the table. She has to work for him faithfully for 1 whole year after the escape. She hesitates, her royal ego clashing with her desperation. Our boy steps into her personal space, looking her dead in the eye, and reminds her he isn't her manipulative mother. He keeps it 100. After a tense pause, the princess swallows her pride and gracefully bends the knee, taking the deal. Our boy praises the smart play. He then pivots to the towering Guardian, casually reminding the giant that since he holds the deed to the star, he's under new management now. He aggressively commands the idiot to hit the dirt. The system violently interrupts with a massive pop-up, crunching the numbers for his class acquisition. His performance is rated unique, shattering the devs' expectations and securing an insane score of 230 points to top the Hall of Fame. The constellations of fortune and adventure are practically fangirling, heavily upgrading his loot as multiple god-tier entities lock onto his ridiculous progression speed. Meanwhile, back at the Desert Queen's HQ, a scout desperately reports that Isabella has breached the high-security zone with a captured slave in tow. Curious, the Queen orders her goons to hunt them down and drag them back. Back in the real world, a trio of gamers is grabbing coffee and aggressively gossiping about the leaderboards. One guy is convinced this Randolph character is actually the legendary ghost player Phantom. Snagging such a stupidly high score on a main quest requires wiki-tier brainpower, and the guy in the black shirt notes that Phantom has been MIA for 5 years, so his comeback is about to break the internet. The guy in red is desperate to headhunt him first, but the blonde girl points out they've been chasing that ghost for years with zero luck, since Phantom was nothing more than a ghost in the machine until the game started glitching into reality. The strategist hatches a plan to use the newly unlocked secret auction house as the ultimate honeypot to lure him out. The secret auction is basically a trap house for noobs, where veterans list god-tier loot for pennies, sticking invisible tracking spells on the gear to jump the buyers the second they collect. The guy in the red shirt seriously doubts a legend like Phantom is dumb enough to walk into such a basic setup. But the blonde girl, she goes full Stan mode, literally shaking with hype. She swears Phantom is exactly the type of unhinged, chaotic force who would snatch the bait on purpose just to throw hands. She demands they draft him immediately, convinced he is some loaded CEO or nepo baby in the real world who is just as mentally cooked as they are. Meanwhile, the Hall of Fame refreshes the class acquisition quest. Our boy is absolutely crushing it in first place, with 230 points, leaving Grazia and Michako as tasty in the dust. Then there is Massacre down in 5th, absolutely seething, because only the top 2 get VIP access to the secret auction. Bro is completely gatekept, but Massacre is not about that grinding life. He chooses violence. He decides if the system won't let him in, he will just hunt down every player ranked above him and snatch their spots over their dead avatars, literally slaughtering his way up the leaderboard. Back in the digital dunes, a system alert pops off. Our boy has hit 100% exploration on the hidden sanctuary, crowning him the server's first conqueror. His prize, an epic tier teleport book that lets him warp anywhere he has been, hauling his royal cargo. Our boy starts mumbling coordinates like a glitchy GPS, leaving the Snake Princess looking totally lost. He officially dings level 3, and thanks to his Star Inheritor class and the Star Possession buff, his stats skyrocket into the high 30s. He realizes the grind is about to get 10 times harder with these stat caps, but honestly, who cares? He just bagged 2 game-breaking items, including a shadow cloak, that gives him full-on invisibility. The victory lap gets cut short when the giant guardian Dramit roars about intruders breaching the perimeter. Isabella guesses the Queen's hit squad is finally here. Realizing they have totally overstayed their welcome, she asks if they should squad up with the giant snake to fight. Our boy has a smarter play. He casually dumps all aggro onto the guardian, leaving the massive beast sweating bullets, as its new master immediately books it the other way. As they bail, leaving the trackers to deal with the raid boss, Isabella questions the ethics of abandoning their giant meat shield. Our boy explains that is likely just the scout team, and getting caught by the main army is a straight-up game over. Isabella gets salty, assuming he is ditching the guardian, because she is dead weight. Our boy checks her quick. Dramit is zone-locked to the sanctuary, so they are on their own. Either way, their only extraction point is the warp gate at the map's edge. Thanks to his star blessing, Isabella's curse is cleansed, so she is finally cleared for travel. The only massive glitch, the gate has a 12-hour cast time. Standing there, Isabella realizes there is zero cover in the open desert. Our boy assures her Dramit is buying them a window, but he urgently needs to commune with the stars, aka check reality. He asks if she can watch his 6 while he is vulnerable. Gripping her sword, she swears on her life to protect him. Taking the system's hint to log out safely, our boy smashes the exit button. He gasps awake in his bathtub, his brain reeling from the lag between his god-tier avatar and his fragile human body. He checks his phone, no apocalypse alerts yet, so the monster invasion has not fully breached reality. But knowing the timer is running and other summon players are hunting, he heads out for intel. He rolls up to a cafe just as his ex is currently screaming at her new man on the phone for being broke. She hangs up mentally, comparing that cheapskate to our boy, actually wishing he had just a little more cash so she would not have had to kick him to the curb. Right on cue, he walks in. She instantly flips the switch to sweet innocent girl cooing about how he always comes running. Our boy sits down, completely ignoring the act, and tells her to cut the crap, he is on the clock. She tries to gaslight him, claiming she misses him and regrets the breakup. Our boy just looks at her, pure disappointment written all over his face. She didn't even drop a dime for his coffee before standing up to bounce. Then she absolutely snaps, screaming about how much she missed him. Our boy just coldly checks her reality. He asks if her current boyfriend knows. She is out here fishing for a backup roster spot, kindly suggesting she scrub her couple pics from the internet before trying to hustle her ex. He walks out, leaving her seething in absolute embarrassment. Stepping onto the street, our main character is actually spooked by his own icy composure. He realizes his in-game avatar's supreme confidence is glitching into his real-world personality. Before he can process this character development, chaos erupts down the block. A totally deranged lunatic is dragging a terrified girl by her hair, waving a blade around, and ranting about respect and stalking. The bystanders watch in horror as the maniac prepares to strike. But before the steel can descend, our boy blitzes into the danger zone, moving with supernatural speed. He clamps a hand directly over the psycho's face. As the attacker shakes in pure fear, our boy stares him down and casually announces that the game is officially over. The armed creep demands to know who the hell is interrupting, screaming to be let go. As our boy crushes his grip, the attacker's wrist screams in agony, feeling like it is 1 second away from snapping like a twig. The protagonist mentally notes that he didn't even need to trigger his broken golden rule cheat code to win this clash. His physical stats have genuinely upgraded into a lethal weapon. Deciding he has held hands long enough, he tosses the thug like trash and turns to the trembling victim to check if she is all right. The woman looks up with teary eyes and a massive blush, stammering that she doesn't even know how to thank him properly. The MC narrows his eyes, realizing this is the exact same woman from earlier, and asks if she has something to say to him. She quickly denies it, claiming he just happens to look remarkably like someone she knows. Their awkward moment is cut short when the discarded attacker tries a desperate sucker punch from the rear, screaming for our hero to die. The lady shouts a panicked warning, but the protagonist simply weaves past the sloppy ambush with zero effort. In one fluid motion, he introduces the man's face to the concrete, knocking him out cold. The girl is left staring at him in total awe. Naturally, the cops roll up right as the dust settles and immediately try to haul our boy down to the station. The victim steps up, passionately defending him as her savior and clarifying that she was the one who filed the initial stalking report. The officers refuse to budge, arguing that an assault occurred, so he has to come in for questioning. She points out the glaring fact that the creep had a literal knife, but the police hide behind their standard red tape, asking who takes the fall if they let a suspect walk and something goes wrong. The MC sighs, stating he simply does not have the time to waste on this bureaucratic circus. Deciding enough is enough, the woman drops her ace card. She introduces herself as Kim Hannah, a reporter for CK Broadcasting, and firmly suggests they stop harassing an innocent hero, unless they want their incompetence blasted all over the primetime news. The officers instantly realize they have stepped on a massive PR landmine. To make matters worse, the surrounding crowd starts whispering loudly, recognizing the reporter from that viral clip where she saved a kid from a monster. Realizing they are completely outplayed, the cops fold, agreeing to only take the unconscious attacker away. With the drama handled, Hannah thanks the protagonist and hands over her business card. She explains her beat covering Dimension Warriors, the new media label for the mysterious people who fought off the monster invasion. The MC mentally chuckles, realizing the public has branded the players as interdimensional superheroes, rather than admitting a video game has violently merged with reality. Hannah politely asks for his contact info, but before he can answer, the absolute worst-case scenario comes sprinting into view. His ex-girlfriend claws onto his arm, completely ignoring the vibe, and loudly fusses over whether he is hurt. Hannah raises an eyebrow, asking if this sudden arrival is his girl. Our boy does not hesitate for a microsecond. He forcefully shoves the ex away cleanly, denies any relation whatsoever, and tells the reporter he doesn't have a card, but will gladly punch his digits directly into her phone. The ex is left frozen in sheer humiliation as the reporter hands over her device. Looking at the new contact, Hannah notes that Park Jin-young is a really nice name. She casually offers to treat him to coffee, or a meal the next day if he is free. The MC smoothly accepts and they part ways. The ex is left standing entirely alone. She clenches her jaw until her teeth nearly crack, fuming that he's still the exact same loser she kicked to the curb. As she stomps away, her phone blows up. It's a cheerful colleague with an update about the chief, who conveniently dumped a massive workload on her right before jetting off on a business trip. She's been booked for an exclusive one-on-one with Gracia, the legendary hero who literally saved America. Hannah is totally baffled why a global superstar would waste time on a nobody like her. But then her coworker drops the bomb. The superhero didn't just agree, she requested Hannah by name and is flying all the way to Korea just for this meeting. Meanwhile, back in the digital nightmare, the Snake Princess is running on fumes after obliterating a swarm of watchers. But one enemy is still standing, ready to deliver a classic villain ultimatum. He demands she crawl back to Her Majesty, hand over the little slave boy, and all is forgiven. Isabella isn't having it. She calls him a total moron for even asking. The Watchers raise their weapons to execute the traitor, but the death blow gets cut short by a blinding explosion of blue light. A system window pops up, warp activated, leaving the enemies completely blinded by the sudden light show. The protagonist steps through the portal like a total boss. He opens his eyes to the chaos. Isabella's face lights up with pure relief as she asks if he actually pulled off the communion with the star. He gives a nod just as a watcher screams for their heads. Perfect timing. The MC decides to take his new upgrades for a spin. He looks at Isabella. She kept her promise to guard his helpless body, so now he's going to keep his promise to her. Boom. A blinding aura erupts around him. The system announces a new exclusive skill, Star Inheritor, Star Slash. In exactly 41 seconds of pure destruction, he absolutely vaporizes a massive chunk of the enemy army. He stands there in the middle of the glowing wreckage and dramatically declares that their liberation starts now, telling Isabella to rejoice. She just stares at him with burning anticipation, totally hypnotized by the insane magnitude of the Saint's raw power. The MC turns to her with one final offer. He won't stop her. If she wants to go back to her people. She flashes a bright smile. She's sticking with him. Instantly, the system chimes in, notifying them that Isabella's limit curse has been completely shattered by the star blessing. Threat neutralized. They hit the warp and drop straight into the central country, landing right in Arcana. The system greets them with a massive warning label, Arcana, the golden city of extreme materialism. Translation: do not enter if you're broke. The city is aggressively flashy, and the MC realizes real quick that gold is the only language people speak here. He figures they need serious stacks just to survive the night. Isabella proudly whips out a pouch. With 300 gold inside, confident it'll easily cover a night of food and a hotel. The protagonist just looks at her with pure pity. She gets defensive about her stash, arguing that back in the desert, 300 gold buys 10 slaves, literally 10 times what he was worth when they met. The MC brutally shatters her economic bubble, explaining that the cost of living here is nothing like the desert slums. Isabella starts low-key panicking, asking how they're going to eat. The MC just points behind them. Why stress when there's literal money lying all over the place? She's totally lost, scanning the ground for this supposed free cash. The protagonist just smirks, telling her he's feeling incredibly lucky right as his hidden trait Golden Blessing officially kicks in. Welcome to Arcana, the Golden City, a flashy playground where cash is king and money is the law. The heart of this beast is the massive Hudson Casino, which is exactly where our boy and Isabella are standing. As the protagonist swaggers toward the entrance, a hulking bodyguard blocks him, demanding a 10,000 gold deposit. The Snake Princess's jaw hits the floor. She furiously whispers that after buying their new outfits, they're down to a pathetic 100 gold. Our boy smoothly waves her off. That initial stash was chump change anyway, and they desperately needed the drip upgrade. The line behind them starts trash-talking, the beggars holding up the queue, so our boy calmly slams a piece of collateral on the counter, a tear of the Fairy Queen. This ultra-rare gem breaks the limit cap on high-tier gear and survives total destruction. The guard's attitude pulls a complete 180. He instantly bows and escorts them straight to the VIP lounge, leaving the haters in shock. Once inside, Isabella demands to know what that was. The protagonist shrugs. Just a sanctuary, reward worth at least 1,000,000 gold. Trust me, I'll win it back. He hits the tables with zero fear. Smash cut to our boy absolutely cleaning house. The crowd is losing their minds, as his chip stack explodes from a measly 250 gold to a massive 1.4 million. The protagonist silently thanks his Golden Blessing cheat code, while the dealer is literally shaking in his boots. Isabella is bouncing off the walls, screaming that they're loaded, but our boy shuts that down. Nah, I'm loaded. The party dies when a manager steps up, telling him the cash is his, but he's banned for life. The catch: every sheep in the place is copying his bets and bleeding the house dry. Our boy agrees to walk, but only if he gets a sit-down with the big boss. Manager says no way, so our MC hits him with a smirk. Just tell him. Trust me, he's gonna want this meeting. Cut to the VIP penthouse. Someone's scanning the item, using a level 8 observer skill. The guy is shook that tier drops exclusively for Fairy Queen Knights, and takes a full raid team to farm. When the manager delivers the message, the boss Mr. Hudson actually laughs at the kid's guts and orders tea. Face-to-face, Hudson clocks that the kid looks way too squishy to have farmed that tier himself. Playing it cool, the rich collector claims he's just a casual fan of shiny rocks and offers 2 million gold. Isabella is screaming internally at the amount, but our boy doesn't even blink. Make it 20 million. The boss drops the nice guy act instantly, arguing it's just raw crafting material. Our boy leans back. Maybe to me, but you need it like oxygen. He sips his tea and completely dismantles Hudson's poker face. He drops the bomb. He knows Hudson needs the tier to bypass the level 10 cap for the city council. A non-combatant suit could never hit that level naturally. And why does a businessman crave political clout to finally be worthy? In the eyes of his fiance's noble family, Sarah Serengeti, Hudson freezes, stone, cold, paralyzed. Our boy flashes back to the game lore. Serengeti, the Snow White Knight, lost her legs to the Demon King, trying to save Wilhelm. Back when Pangea was just a game, she gave him a locket with a picture of her secret fiancé, Hudson. That was the moment our boy realized these glitched NPCs are trapped players from the real world. Sweating bullets, the casino boss demands to know where he got that classified intel. Sensing a gold mine of information, our boy lies through his teeth. The stars told me. He offers the talisman for free. On one condition, Hudson spills his true life story. Massive risk. In this world, Hunter NPCs execute players who break character. Sharing your backstory is basically signing your own death warrant. But he knows a desperate lover will risk it all. And boom. Hudson pulls out the matching locket and caves. He starts his story. Serengeti was a hero. In the Demon Realm expedition led by the 8 heroes, our boy cuts him off. Wait, what? Wilhelm led that raid solo. The boss looks at him like he's lost his mind. No, the 8 heroes led it together, and they failed hard because of infighting. He names Gracia as the second, strongest hero. Smash cut to the real-world USA. The legendary hero Gracia is glued to his phone. He's reading Kim Hana's report about the guy who wrote a monster in Seoul. His assistant walks in, asking why he's flying to Korea in the middle of a crisis, instead of just summoning the reporter. Gracia shuts her down. He stares at the blurry photo of our protagonist. I have to confirm it myself. He feels it in his gut. This guy is the friend he's been hunting for. Back in the game, Hudson drops that lore bomb. The Snow White Knight was part of the Demon Realm expedition with the 8 heroes. Our boy is stunned silent by how wrong that sounds. His brain is screaming, what 8 heroes? Wilhelm solo carried that entire event. Hudson politely corrects him. Sure, Wilhelm is the face of it, but history says it was a joint op that crashed and burned. Specifically because those 8 leaders couldn't stop fighting each other. Our boy is reeling. His entire understanding of history shattered. Hard cut to reality. Our boy is zoning out violently, mechanically chewing a super expensive steak. He's at a fancy dinner with the reporter looking like a zombie. She notices the 1,000-yard stare. Is the meat okay? The protagonist snaps out of it. Food's great, just a rough night. Inside, he's absolutely losing it. Asking Hudson for the tea on his backstory was a mistake. The dude had a full emotional breakdown and lore dumped until sunrise. Our boy was stuck online all night dealing with that drama, which is why he rolls up 10 minutes late to this thank you lunch. The reporter isn't tripping about the time, though. She says buying him a 5-star meal is the bare minimum after he saved her from that psycho stalker. He tries to play it cool, acting like it was just civic duty, but she smiles and insists that stepping up like that is rare. The wholesome vibes die instantly when her eyes go wide, locking onto a table right behind him. She leans in, whispering that the girl staring daggers at the back of his head is the exact same chick who jumped him yesterday. Our boy internally screams. He spots the guy sitting with his ex, a blue-haired gym bro radiating massive try-hard energy, like he binge-watches alpha male podcasts for fun. MC recognizes the face immediately from his ex's cringe social media posts. The reporter reads the room and whispers, asking if it's too awkward and if they need to switch tables. He doesn't even bother turning around, telling her the past is dead and buried, before casually slicing into his steak. Unbothered. But blue hair isn't letting it slide. Feeling the need to flex, he stomps over to their table, desperate for attention. He gets right in our boy's face, aggressively accusing him of stalking his precious girlfriend all the way to the restaurant. He starts spewing trash, calling our MC a shameless, pathetic loser who can't let go of the past. The ex is loving the show, smirking in the background, while the bully leans in close to intimidate our guy. He drops a literal death threat, swearing to end him if he sees him again. Our boy, still eating, didn't even blink. He ignores the noise completely, but the reporter, she is absolutely not letting this disrespect fly. She slams the table, standing up and furiously demanding to know who gave him the right to talk to people like that. The bully sneers, asking how much a rental girlfriend like her costs by the hour, assuming she's just paid company. He whips out a wad of cash, tosses it at her chest, and offers to double her rate if she takes her trashy self somewhere else. The reporter responds to that generous offer by winding up and slapping the absolute soul out of his body. She screams that he's a psycho, but now blue hair is seeing red. He raises a fist, ready to strike her back. Without even leaving his chair, our boy casually slides his leg out. Minimum effort. The bully trips over the perfectly timed foot and eats the floor hard. Total confusion. MC sighs, saying playtime is over, while pointing out to the reporter that throwing hands first wasn't exactly the smartest move. Meanwhile, the bully is furiously scrambling to get back on his feet. But before he can even rise, our boy plants his sneaker firmly against the side of the dude's head. He grinds the bully's face into the restaurant tiles coldly, telling him to cut the act. The bully freezes, paralyzed by the impossible, crushing weight pinning him down. He knows he's outmatched. The ex-girlfriend starts shrieking, telling her boyfriend to get up and stop embarrassing her in public. Humiliated beyond belief, the bully wheezes out a challenge to take this outside. Our boy shuts that down immediately. You started this, he points out, refusing to waste any more energy on a pointless brawl. Snapping under the pressure, the bully goes nuclear. He uses an artifact, instantly summoning a flashy suit of armor. Chaos erupts in the dining room. Customers start screaming and whipping out phones to record the crazy guy in cosplay armor. They realize this guy is a legit dimensional warrior on an ego trip. Armored up bully grabs our boy by the throat. He chokeslams him into the floor with massive force. The reporter screams his name thinking it's over, but then she sees it. Despite the violent slam, our boy is lying on the floor looking completely and utterly bored. He thinks, okay, so he's a player, but wonders how someone this weak has the audacity to act this tough. Ding. The system chimes, activating his hidden trait, Great Sage, to pull up the bully's stat sheet. And wow, it's embarrassing. The guy is a level 4 spearman. For context on Pangea's power scale, leveling up takes an insane amount of XP, especially if you're juggling multiple talents. Our boy, who is sitting on base stats of 36 across the board, plus a laundry list of talents, instantly realizes the bully's dirty little secret. This clown is a coward. He spent the whole tutorial hiding in a bush, surviving on pure dumb luck, and immediately logged out the second he could. He never went back. He's a fake. Before our boy can properly humble him, the ex rushes in begging the bully to bail before the cops show up. The meathead puffs his chest, warning the MC to keep his eyes to himself. This guy struts off like he just clutched a 1v5. The reporter is losing it, demanding they dial 911 right now. Our guy just brushes off the dust and tells her to chill. He reminds her she technically threw the first slap, but the debate gets cut short when the floor starts trembling. Panic erupts as a massive quake rocks the foundation. The MC's expression goes ice cold, because he knows exactly what's happening. A dungeon break is opening right on top of their heads. Gross giant worms smash through the cement. The reporter starts shrieking to run, but the MC instantly clamps a hand over her mouth. He scans the enemy's cheat worms, bottom-tier trash mobs that only scavenge corpses, and are totally passive toward the living unless you mess with them. They are safe, assuming nobody pulls a Leroy Jenkins. Of course, the blue-haired simpleton decides this is his moment to flex for his girl. The bully rushes in and cleaves a worm in two with one hit. Drunk on his own hype, he screams that he is about to wipe the floor with these freaks. The crowd goes wild, feeding his massive ego. The MC looks the reporter dead in the eye and tells her to put as much distance between herself and that idiot as physics allows. Just as the bully starts victory dancing, a thick, crimson fog floods the street, blinding the entire area. The bully starts coughing, totally thrown off by the sudden atmosphere shift. Then a voice drips from the darkness demanding to know who slaughtered her babies. A red warning window pops up for our boy Elite Boss Monster, the Cheat Mamba, has entered the chat. The system suggests a 20-man raid team to survive this. Too bad our boy is solo queuing through the red haze. The boss grins from the shadows, already mind-controlling the blue-haired meathead. The bully has lost it. Tripping hard on the worm's toxic blood, convinced that a terrified civilian, coughing in the smoke, is a demon. He raises his blade, screaming for blood, totally puppeted by the boss. Before this moron can turn a rescue mission into a murder charge, the MC steps in. In a blur of motion, the protagonist slices the bully's arm clean off. The guy hits the deck, wailing in agony, while our boy calmly notes he wanted to stay anonymous. But killing innocents is a hard no. He locks eyes with the fog, calling out the puppet master. The elite boss laughs, actually digging the ruthlessness. The massive cheat mamba slithers into view, hissing that a delicious snack has finally served itself up. The raid boss points a claw at the MC, who stands absolutely statuesque, somewhere in the red mist. The reporter whispers his name, blindly searching for her savior. Cut to the action. The MC is trading blows with the giant snake, internally thanking the mamba for the weather effects. This zero-visibility fog is the ultimate changing room to equip his high-tier gear without ending up on everyone's TikTok feed. Even with the drip, this isn't a tutorial level. If he hadn't memorized this boss's entire moveset back in the game, he would be snake food by now. The monster is baffled. It senses this human has trash-based stats, yet he is sidestepping every lethal strike, like he read the source code. When the MC tries a quick jab, the mamba deflects it, mocking his weak damage output. Our boy stays unbothered. He counts the frames, predicting the poison breath attack is next. He knows one drop of that means game over. Mamba roasts his dodge spamming, noting that survival is pointless if he can't crack its armor. The protagonist ignores the trash talk, promising to bury his sword. Right between its eyes, time to stop holding back, he pulls out the trump card. The ultra-rare Tear of the Fairy Queen. He equips the epic tier Hermes boots. The system notes these kicks, inspired by the wind god, usually need insane stats to wear. But with the tier, dropping requirements by 20%, they fit like a glove, boosting his agility through the roof, and unlocking the swift skill. He doesn't stop there, equipping Michaela's armor and helmet to finish the loadout. The system pings, confirming the Celestial Dragon set bonus is now live. As the boots glow with power, our boy shoots a quick sheepish mental "my bad" to Hudson. He genuinely didn't plan on torching the expensive collateral they just finished haggling over. but he swears he'll make it up to him later, slamming the swift option. The protagonist launches forward at breakneck speed. The monster is totally caught, lacking cursing as it blindly swings its massive tail. The brutal whip knocks our boy back, but he eats the damage like a champ, officially triggering the celestial dragon armor's defensive buff. The Mamba sneers, calling him a rat for hiding cheap tricks. Our boy just braces himself, recognizing the boss's absolute final wipe mechanic. He knows if he tanks this, it's game over for the beast. The monster roars, unleashing a tsunami of toxic fog, designed to melt him instantly. Right on cue, a system alert pops up, announcing perfect synergy between the celestial dragon armor and the swift skill. The Gale ability detonates a hurricane-force wind blast through the bistro, literally deleting the Chief Mamba's poison cloud from existence. The monster is flabbergasted, staring in disbelief as its ultimate attack gets hard countered by a pocket tornado. The narrator breaks down the Mamba's fatal glitch. Its AI is scripted to cycle 4 moves a dodge blood spray, needle attack, and finally, the poison nuke. Once it burns that rotation, the boss enters a stunned cooldown state, freezing up before the cycle resets with double damage. Our boy knows this is his only DPS window. Seeing the MC charging him down, the paralyzed monster starts panicking, literally begging for a timeout. Our boy has zero chill. Politely reminding the beast of his earlier promise, he drives his sword straight through its skull, planting the blade perfectly between the eyes. Headshot. The dust settles as the elite boss hits the floor. A victory screen cheerfully pops up, confirming a solo kill with 100% contribution. He absorbs a shard of the broken golden rule, getting 10 minutes of active use with a 48-hour cooldown. The system also drops the info that Pangea's collapse is at 9.1%, rewarding him with some lucky dice, just as the red mist clears up. As visibility returns, the terrified customers peek out from their hiding spots. The reporter scans the room and spots the armored figure instantly, recognizing her savior from the other day. She screams his name. Our boy, aggressively avoiding the hero spotlight, just stares at her in silence, pops his invisibility cloak, and ghosts the scene. Moments later, he casually jogs back up, looking fresh in civilian clothes. He plays the concerned bystander, claiming they got split up in the mayhem. The reporter says she's good, but her detective eyes catch a major slip-up. There's a smear of fresh monster blood under his fingernails. Our boy tries to laugh it off, saying some random mob must have splashed him. The reporter narrows her eyes, tearing his alibi apart by pointing out his clothes look laundry fresh, yet his hands are dirty. Plus, he was way too calm when the monsters crashed the party. Realizing his cover is crumbling, our boy flips the script. He puts on a face of pure terror, insisting he was so paralyzed by fear, he blacked out, leaning hard into the cowardly wimp act. The reporter isn't buying a single word, convinced he's hiding a massive secret. The narration shifts to the grim reality. Days after the First War, this second unprovoked invasion has the public terrified. Dimension warriors are warning everyone to stay inside, while the news roasts the government for downplaying the danger to save the economy. Meanwhile, in a fancy boardroom, the real power players gather. The room smells like expensive cologne and corruption. It's the player-led Hero Alliance realizing the government has lost. The plot. Alliance leader Park Tae-ho declares it's time to step out of the shadows. An analyst pulls up grainy footage of our boy soloing the Chief Mamba. She suggests the armored tank might be the legendary Randolph, the same guy who just snagged first place on the rankings. A skeptic argues a level 5 noob couldn't equip epic-tier Hermes boots. Tae-ho waves him off. Theorizing a god-tier artifact sparked this mess, they connect the dots to Phantom, another high-profile player who just vanished into thin air. This shadowy figure Randolph popped up the second Phantom went missing. Tae-ho barks orders to his squad secure that armored juggernaut no matter the price tag. They desperately need the firepower for the looming command rift. But back inside the digital nightmare, Hudson is spiraling into a total mental breakdown. Bathed in shadow, the loaded casino mogul is practically foaming at the mouth, demanding to know if our hero actually incinerated the loot. And not just any loot, the legendary Tear of the Fairy Queen. Our guy leans back cool as ice and drops a casual confirmation. Hudson looks like his soul is trying to escape, his skin screeching that the artifact was his by right. But our MC flips the script with some elite-level gaslighting, smoothly clarifying the terms he promised to secure Hudson's victory, not physically hand over the shiny trinket. On the inside, our protagonist is sweating bullets, terrified to admit he panic-burned $1 million gold treasure, just to nuke a snake, in real life. Instead, he wears an ironclad poker face, claiming he destroyed the gem to cure Hudson of his weak mindset. Hudson is on the verge of a full-blown ugly cry wailing about broken trust and betrayal. Our boy just flashes a wicked grin, promising to deliver a demonstration so violent, Hudson won't have a choice but to believe. Smash cut to the trio, spawning in the vilest location possible, the sludge-filled sewers of Arcana. Hudson is quaking behind the Snake Princess, absolutely livid that they're tramping through digital filth. Our lead explains the strategy they need to drop a fast travel anchor point. With his epic tier teleport tome, they can bypass the grind because mapping the entire, sprawling city of Arcana would take literal weeks. Speedrunning this sewer dungeon is the only viable shortcut. Hudson snaps, screaming that hitting this zone with a 3-stack is straight up suicide, considering the boss demands a coordinated 6-man squad of level 8 elites. Right on cue, a grotesque, hulking mutant rat plummets from the ceiling, triggering a blaring raid boss alert. Hudson braces for a grindy tactical defense, but our hero doesn't even unsheath his blade. He just casually calls the target. 10 o'clock. Zero hesitation. Isabella launches a blitz attack, a blinding streak of steel that absolutely vaporizes the boss. Before the beast can even twitch, our lead smirks internally, realizing the monster's legendary agility means nothing when your snake princess possesses combat instincts that shatter the game's physics engine. The protagonist pivots to the frozen casino tycoon, flashing a $1 million grin. He tells the trembling man to quit the doubt, declaring that when he drops a promise, consider it executed. The vibe shifts to a pair of sharp-dressed men, in tailored suits looking totally defeated. It's the captain of the Hero Alliance and his sidekick, scouring every frame of CCTV from the restaurant brawl but coming up with a whole lot of nothing. The captain exhales, noting that this ghostly lack of evidence is enough to drive a detective insane. The rookie suggests they go straight to the source and interrogate the blue-haired bully. The captain shuts that down instantly, pointing out the meathead has totally lost his marbles from the trauma of getting his arm sliced off, so questioning him is pointless. Chasing him down, total waste of time. The rookie suggests storming CK Broadcasting to grill Kim Hanna instead. The captain shuts that down immediately. You do not poke that bear. He reminds his partner that Gracia, literally the #1 ranked player on Earth, flew to Korea just to drop a super exclusive one-on-one interview with that specific reporter. We see a quick cut of Gracia acting weirdly polite to her, clearly treating her like royalty. Back at the precinct, the captain is genuinely wondering if the legendary American powerhouse caught feelings for the reporter at first sight. Doesn't matter why, he decides. They need to ghost her completely. Deep down, he suspects this mysterious Randolph guy is actually the Phantom. But if Gracia is in the mix, one wrong move, and their entire alliance gets deleted instantly. Meanwhile, in the shady part of the city, things are getting real messy. Some psycho player is looming over a guy he just absolutely wrecked. The victim is coughing up blood, begging for answers, screaming that Gracia banned PvP so everyone could prep for the monster waves. The killer couldn't care less. He effortlessly slices the guy's throat, mocking him to go cry to Gracia in the afterlife. Ding! A system notification pops up. Player Massacre has hit the leaderboards and unlocked the secret auction. He smirks at his new rank, checking the insane scores on the main quest leaderboard. He is 100% sure Randolph is just Phantom on a Smurf account. Knowing Phantom's aggressive style, he figures the guy is going to speedrun straight into the next main quest. Gripping his blade, he vows to spawn camp the questline and end him personally. Back with our chaotic squad. The MC is having a main character moment. He's hyping up the loot they snagged from vaporizing the sewer rat. He secured a mutant monster rat core super toxic stuff that usually turns people into Cronenbergs. But thanks to his hidden beast lord trait, our boy can feed these corrupted souls. To his high dragon summoned to power level its evolution. Snapping back to reality, he asks Hudson if he tied up his loose ends in the city. The casino boss confirms he liquidated his entire gambling empire, just like he was told. He'll miss the cash flow, but locking down his marriage to Serengeti is worth it. Plus, the corporate vultures were circling anyway. Inside his head, Hudson is totally buying the MC's Holy Saint act. He's still shook that Isabella soloed a raid boss, and obsessed with the protagonist's 200 IQ shot calling. He's all in, terrified of fumbling this bag. Our boy smiles mentally, high-fiving himself that his walking ATM is fully secured. Money problems solved for the foreseeable future, he tells Hudson, to focus strictly on hitting level 10. Hudson's hyped, asking where the next stop is. The MC drops the location, the masterpiece that'll grant his wish, which happens to be the start point for main quest 3, the Tower of Spirits. They pull up to what looks like a totally basic, quiet patch of woods. Hudson squints, looking unimpressed, asking if this basic forest is really the legendary spot. The MC corrects him. This is the rustling forest, the secret back door to the tower. They stop in front of a massive, totally dead tree. The protagonist explains that spirit trees are supposed to open a magic portal to the spirit realm, but this one, dead as a doornail. He looks around and notices the whole forest is decaying, like it hasn't spawned a new spirit in forever. Deciding he doesn't have time to wait, the MC chooses violence. He draws his sword and hacks the dead tree. Hudson freaks out, screaming about why. The saint is griefing their only way in. Suddenly, a lethal lightning bolt shoots out of the woods, aiming straight for Hudson's dome. Isabella moves like a glitch, deflecting the strike perfectly. The attacker steps out a level 9 Hydra, the boss of this forest. He gives props to the girl's reflexes, but he is fuming. He roasts them for chopping a sacred tree after he was nice enough to let them walk through his turf. Suddenly the bushes rustle and over 50 level 7 forest keepers pop out, completely circling the squad. Isabella runs the numbers, survival chances are looking real low, mentally prepping to snatch the MC and evac the second this situation goes south. Our main character is cool as ice. He steps up casually telling the druid to stop raging at the bystanders, basically admitting he's the one who did the little deforestation stunt. He smoothly notes that the big boss wouldn't have shown his face unless he forced the encounter. The forest master calls him straight up delusional and gets ready to order the execution. Standing tall, our boy asks if the dryad is really going to sit back and watch his entire domain wither into dust. Flashing a cocky grin, he proposes a high-stakes trade. If the dryad unlocks the Tower of Spirits, our boy will personally jumpstart the dying woodland by gifting it fresh spiritual energy. The dryad scoffs at the absolute nonsense, arguing that the tower is VIP access only for the chosen, totally dismissing the idea that some random human could survive the climb. Our boy internally agrees. Normally, getting into the tower requires a laundry list of broken talents, endless fetch quests, and miracle tier luck to beat the odds. But that logic only applies if you're a basic NPC. Dropping the nice guy act, the protagonist forcefully tells the dryad to zip it and open the gate. He instantly triggers his secret weapon, the hidden nature affinity trait, bathed in a massive, calming emerald aura that immediately vibes with the dying woods. Our boy firmly declares that saving this forest is now his responsibility. The angry mob of forest keepers is thirsting for blood, screaming for the intruders to be deleted for harming the sacred wood. Isabella tenses up, mapping out escape routes, but the level 9 High Dryad abruptly raises a hand, killing the noise instantly. He marches right up to the protagonist, sternly demanding he back up that insane promise. Our boy flashes a winning smile, swearing he's a man of his word and will absolutely bring the juice back to these dead woods. The druid openly admits he's betting on the human to fail, casually noting it won't be too late to turn him into compost after he messes up. He orders the trio to follow, leading them deep into the decaying grove, until they hit a massive ancient rock called the Spirit's Corpse. The druid explains, this stone is the literal access key to the tower. He drops a grim ultimatum. If the protagonist pulls this off, he gets the loot. But if he fails, he's getting recycled into premium fertilizer for the trees. The system pings with a notification, subquest, return spirit to the forest. The failure conditions include a massive 30-point honor hit and a full-scale PvE battle with the forest. Our boy chuckles internally, appreciating how wonderfully dramatic the game over screen would look. The druid tells them to brace themselves and fires up the portal, flashbanging the entire area in blinding white light. When the glare fades, Hudson looks around completely lost in the sauce and asks if they finally made it inside the tower. Our boy corrects the panicked casino boss, explaining this is just the lobby they still have to formally get permission to enter the real dungeon. Right on cue, a chibi floating spirit, basically a tiny, glowing orb with anime eyes, and a helmet pops into view. Hudson's inner capitalist instantly wakes up, asking if they should bag it for resale. Our boy quickly shuts down the poacher vibes, fawning over how cute the little guy is. The tiny spirit senses the protagonist's nature affinity, pulsing, and officially gives him the green light to climb. Then it vibe checks Hudson and Isabella, asking the MC if these sidekicks are really people he trusts with his life. Our boy gives a non-committal shrug, basically saying, sure. Satisfied, the spirit grants access, but drops a massive catch. They have to run the gauntlet solo. Isabella confidently promises to see them soon, while Hudson completely loses his mind as his body physically starts Thanos snapping into light particles. The spirit casually mentions that time flows differently inside the tower, so they should climb without stress testing about the outside world. With his squad gone, the system recommends the basic towers, but our boy finds himself staring down a massive nightmare fuel violet door that literally has a face and two giant arms, holding itself shut. The narration smoothly breaks down the tower's mechanics. Every climber gets assigned a specific gate based on their elemental alignment. Isabella naturally pulled the Gate of Wind, while Hudson got sent to the Gate of Water, with each zone serving up trials perfectly tailored to the user. But our guy is totally bamboozled, staring blankly at the interface. He realizes that because he built his current character, Randolph, to have mastery over literally every single element, the game logic is glitching out. Suddenly, the giant stone face on the gate peels its eyes open. Shook by his stats, it notes he is stacking totally contradictory vibes like water and fire, light and darkness. Yet somehow it is all held together by the void element. The door scoffs, deciding void is too basic, and renames the location the Gate of Chaos. It drops a heavy warning: nobody has ever cracked this specific gate open, and if the chaos inside swallows him, it is game over permanently. Unfazed, our protagonist struts through the heavy doors into a pitch-black hallway. He thinks back on his 5-year, unhealthy obsession with Pangea. He is the ultimate lore master, knowing this brutal world better than the devs themselves. But even now, the game trolls him with insane, impossible mysteries. A genuine grin creeps across his face. He admits this adrenaline spike is the exact reason he is addicted to this nightmare simulation. Since the Gate of Chaos is fresh content, he hype talks himself up, vowing to snag the world first clear. But his main character monologue gets shut down fast when a dude with flowing white hair and a black cloak spins around. Our hero's heart skips a beat. It is Wilhelm. His own max-level rank 1 original character is standing right there. Before his brain can process why the game's greatest hero is the dungeon boss, Wilhelm blitzes him with a kill shot. Our boy, barely frame-perfect, dodges the strike. Seeing his life bar flash before his eyes, he is internally screaming, realizing he has to throw hands with the literal god-tier entity of the server. Sweating buckets, he curses Pangea, convinced the devs designed this trash level to be mathematically impossible. But after tanking a hit from history's strongest unit, our guy spots a massive exploit in the mechanics. The clone, Wilhelm's sword, connects solidly with his arm, but instead of slicing him in half, it just dings the armor. The protagonist's gamer instinct kicks in. The trial copy-pasted Wilhelm's skin and skills, but heavily nerfed his base stats to match our boy's current level cap. Now that the fear of getting one shot is gone, he flips the switch to offense. A flurry of system windows confirms his full loadout is active, syncing the celestial dragon armor with the Hermes boots to proc the Gale synergy. Giant wind wings burst from his back, catching the fake Wilhelm lacking as our boy physically tackles the legendary hero. The clone tries to reset, dodging a counterattack, while throwing shade, asking if he is just chasing past glory. Our boy doesn't waste breath on chatting with an NPC. Calling the illusion a cheap bootleg, he grabs the fake Wilhelm's skull and rips it clean off his shoulders. Catching his breath, he chugs a high-tier HP potion, mentally sending a huge thank you to Hudson's bank account for funding his pay-to-win inventory. However, the victory lap is cut short. The hallway shadows start morphing, and a whole army of Wilhelm clones spawns from the dark. Our boy gulps, realizing if he hadn't packed a literal warehouse of healing items, he would be logging out for good. The scene cuts to the real world inside a high-end studio. The legendary player Gracia is wrapping up an interview, and the reporter politely thanks him for flying all the way to Korea. Gracia ignores the small talk, pivoting straight to business. He tells her that now the cameras are cut, he needs the tea on that mystery man she mentioned in her article. Leaning in with zero chill, the strongest player on Earth demands every single microscopic detail about her savior, warning her not to skip a beat. Back in the digital meat grinder, our boy looks like he went 10 rounds with a blender. He is slaughtered. At least 100 Wilhelm clones burning through his entire potion stash. Panting, he notices the mobs stopped respawning, and there are no stairs up, meaning this gauntlet is likely the final stage. He thinks he has beaten the dungeon, but a shadowy chaos spirit suddenly glitches into existence. It stares at the battered druid with pure amusement, roasting him for thinking it is over. With a twisted grin, the spirit drops a reality bomb. Those 100 clones were just the tutorial. It points to the giant gate ahead cheerfully, warning him that thousands of buffed illusions are waiting inside and basically tells him to rage quit now. Faced with a level literally rigged to fail, our MC just stares down the entity with a face devoid of all emotion. Complete silence. He ice-coldly pivots and marches straight for the giant ominous door. The dungeon NPCs instantly lose their cool, panic scrambling to body block him like desperate bouncers. They are sweating bullets, begging him to halt and throwing insane offers his way to make him U-turn. One spirit swears on a blood oath to forge a special contract, rivaling a legendary star grade. Another is screaming out the exact map coordinates for a one-of-a-kind world-tier gear set. A third tries to thirst trap him with an S-tier chaos skill, but our boy doesn't even flinch. His pro-gamer brain is fully online. He knows the meta clearing. An elemental gate guarantees a spirit egg of that specific element. As the first player in history to crack the Gate of Chaos, a priceless chaos spirit egg is basically his guaranteed participation trophy. But seeing these spirits hyperventilating and throwing god-tier bribes just to keep that door shut confirms one thing. The loot hidden behind that gate is infinitely more broken than the trash they are offering. The spirit starts screaming, warning him he is making a fatal mistake and this is the point of no return. Before an army of thousands shreds him to pieces, our guy finally halts, throwing a casual glance back over his shoulder. He shrugs, admitting that soloing 1,000 mobs with 0 health potions sounds like a logistical nightmare. However, since he just spent hours grinding 100 copies of this exact boss, he has the attack frames downloaded into his soul. He smoothly informs the stunned spirits that healing items are for noobs. He plans to pull a hitless run purely on muscle memory and frame-perfect dodges. Smirking, he drops the mic. Logic dictates that if clearing the room equals loot, walking away is just bad math. The spirits go dead quiet, totally floored by his insanity. Slowly, massive grins creep onto their faces. They openly confess they actually dig this crazy human's vibe. Our boy kicks the heavy doors wide open. He braces for a raid boss, but instead steps into a totally chill, empty cosmic void. It is just floating stars and gold dust. A cheerful system notification pops up. Welcome to the top of the tower. Main quest, 3 cleared. Our MC blinks, totally confused. Where is the death squad? Suddenly, the cute little helmet-wearing guide pops into existence. It gives the druid a warm congrats on conquering the tower, mentioning his teammates are still grinding their way up below. The protagonist realizes the final boss was literally a bluff check. The guide confirms it. Chaos spirits are pathological liars by design. If he had panicked and taken the shiny bribes, he would have been soft-locked in that hallway for eternity. Ignoring the scam, the guide tells him to reach out and grab his endgame reward. Our boy extends his hand ready for that legendary Chaos Spirit Egg, fully satisfied with the high tier drop. The system starts the transfer, then glitches out. The text scrambles and promptly rewrites itself. Obtained Celestial Spirit Egg. Our MC looks down, completely thrown off track. This is not a dark artifact. He is holding an egg made of pure white feathers, glowing with a blinding holy aura. The Pangea veteran is just standing there in the cosmos, staring at the item, and wondering what on earth he is actually holding. Suddenly, a barrage of system windows explodes into view, clearing up the confusion. Item identified: Heavenly Spirit Egg, a mythic artifact sitting on the razor's edge of light and darkness. The description is strict. Only a true celestial can even perceive or hatch this thing. His gamer brain goes into overdrive. He knows celestials are a mythical race from the lore, specifically from the heavenly realm. Getting this drop mathematically proves the system thinks he is one of them. Is this broken reward tied to his mysterious heavenly hidden trait? He nav the lore dump fast. He asks the guide if it knows about the feather egg. The tiny spirit admits it is way above his pay grade, but then drops a bomb. The Spirit King himself is currently eyeing that specific egg very closely. Our boy almost chokes on air. The Spirit Kings are literal creator beings, the absolute apex of Pangea. If a god-tier entity is watching his unboxing, the value here is off the charts. He decides to solve this puzzle later. He safely stashes the artifact in his inventory, as the system officially marks the main quest complete. 3. Making history as the first player to ever clear the Chaos Tower, he obliterates the maximum point ceiling, scoring an insane 240 points. But wait, there is more. His vision gets spammed with a cascading waterfall of alerts, as the Cosmic VIP Lounge decides to drop massive donations on their favorite streamer. We are talking big shots: the Constellation of Fortune, the Constellation of Adventure, and the shady crew from the 100 Stars Temple. All announce they are hyped on his legendary trial run. Since these god-tier entities live for the drama, they literally hack the system to juice up his final reward package, letting him pick 2 legendary items out of 20. Our MC is grinning, totally shook that the loot is way beyond his wildest gamer dreams. Cut to later, the squad officially links up outside the tower. Isabella flexes a wind spirit egg, and Hudson snagged a water spirit egg. Thanks to some RNG luck, Isabella actually pulled 2 eggs. Being the absolute MVP, she tosses the spare to the Dryads immediately, making good on our boy's vow to save their withering woods, to show some major love. The Dryads gift Isabella their top-tier loot, a 1,000-year-old Mandragora root soaking with pure forest vibes. But let's be real, this legendary elixir is a literal mountain of ugliness. It looks like a twisted, screaming vegetable. Isabella's face contorts into a hilarious mask of pure disgust and confusion. Our boy just chuckles, knowing that force-feeding herself, that gross plant, is going to make his snake princess OP. The system pings him with the Dryad's Friend achievement and unlocks a fast travel point, dropping a hint that Dryads are ride-or-die homies as long as you don't accidentally torch their home. Checking the new leaderboards, our protagonist is hyped to see his alt account, Randolph, sitting pretty at rank 1. Comfortable kicking the legendary Gracia down to 2nd place. Since he shattered the point cap, his Guardian Wall hits level 11. This is a massive quality of life upgrade. Now, his real-world body has a 30-second shield against low-level mobs while he is away from keyboard, and his avatar stays safe during logout. He mentally sighs, sweating bullets, realizing how exposed his physical body was before. Hudson cuts the menu surfing short to thank the MC profusely. With literal dollar signs in his eyes, he announces plans to buy a premium incubator the moment they return, knowing that Spirit is his ticket to power leveling straight to level 10. Before they bounce, Isabella requests a pit stop. Hudson, now a devoted follower of the cult of Randolph, agrees to follow them blindly. The squad warps straight into the Knight's Garden territory, a zone formerly run by Marquis Weiser. The second Hudson clocks the location, he loses his absolute mind. He is shaking and pacing, terrified because this is Serengeti's hood and he feels way too broke and unworthy to pop the question yet. Our boy rolls his eyes hard, telling the casino boss to breathe. because they aren't ring shopping. He just needs to ask Serengeti something. But as they hit the streets, the MC's vibe checks out. The city is a disaster zone, beggars everywhere, broken glass, and thick, miserable energy. They reach a massive memorial stone in the town square. Isabella points to 500 names etched in the rock, asking if any ring a bell. He admits he doesn't know the names, but he knows their fate. These were the 500 loyal knights, who followed his original character Wilhelm on that doomed grand expedition. Massive guilt hits him like a truck. Back when it was just pixels on a screen, their deaths were just spicy background lore. But now, he has to watch a grieving mom clinging to the stone, screaming curses at Wilhelm, and begging the bastard to return her son. Suddenly, a goddess church rep crashes the morning session, shaking down the locals. The guy demands a mandatory 50 gold donation from the mourners, supposedly for a medical station. Hudson's business brain glitches, and he bluntly points out that 50 gold is a whole month's wages for a normie, making this straight-up robbery. The aggressive collector doubles down, claiming the highly respected Priest Andrew ordered this shakedown. The MC is confused. He knows Priest Andrew's code. The guy is supposed to be a saint who hands out honor quests. Seeing this rich city turned into a slum, with corrupt priests robbing the poor, our boy realizes the game's lore is structurally broken. Smash cut to a luxury mansion. Let's look at the guy running the show, Marquis Weiser, the supposed ruler of this turf. He is slumped over his desk, looking like absolute trash, wasted out of his mind, and buried under a mountain of empty bottles. When his loyal butler gently begs him to put the drink down, the Marquis answers by launching a glass bottle straight at the poor guy's face, screaming for a refill. Meanwhile, our boy decides it is time to talk to management. He politely demands a sit-down with Priest Andrew, but the desk guy starts rubbing his neck awkwardly, claiming it is impossible because the waiting list for treatment stretches for miles. Our boy just snaps his fingers at his personal ATM. Hudson steps up and casually drops a 50,000 gold donation on the counter. The worker's jaw hits the floor. Sensing weakness, the casino boss leans in close and whispers he will double it to a cool 100,000 if they get VIP access to the priest right now. The guy's moral compass evaporates instantly. Blinded by the gold, he is suddenly calling them his brothers and rushing them straight to the back. Priest Andrew welcomes his new favorite whales with open arms, inviting them to take a load off, while nervously bringing up the insane donation. Our boy just leans back and keeps it real, noting that, since the church is busy shaking down grieving mothers for 50 gold, he figured a standard bribe wouldn't cut the line. Andrew looks like a kicked puppy. He bitterly admits there is zero excuse for his greed, hanging his head in shame. Our boy drops the attitude and asks the real question. How did a major relief center in a rich city end up this broke? Andrew sighs and spills the tragic lore. He explains that Sister May, that grieving mom from outside, lost her only son in the legendary Grand Expedition, and she wasn't the only one. Tons of elite knights from Knight's Garden got hyped by the Night King Wilhelm and marched off to fight the Demon King, never to return. The city lost a huge chunk of its muscle and manpower, but here is the thing. Knight's Garden had deep enough pockets to eventually bounce back from the economic hit. The real financial apocalypse started when the Lord's daughter, Lady Serenity, finally dragged herself back from that doomed mission. Seeing our boy looks unimpressed, Andrew drops the bomb. Serenity came back missing both legs and trapped in a permanent, unexplainable coma. Marquis Weiser, desperate to save his only child, completely lost his mind. He blew the city's entire treasury on useless elixirs, letting scammers drain him dry. Desperate, he even took out a massive loan, putting up the entire territory as collateral. When everything failed, the Marquis snapped. He cut all city funding, leaving this one relief center as the only thing keeping the sick from rotting in the streets. That is exactly why the church is shamelessly shaking down tourists. They need that cash just to keep the lights on and patients breathing. Processing this heavy lore, our boy figures out Serenity's coma isn't just physical trauma. Andrew confirms it is likely a high-level curse way above his pay grade. The protagonist connects the dots, realizing his broken star's blessing trait acts like a cheat code to wipe out the curse, just like with Isabella. Deciding he has heard enough, our boy stands up and announces he is going straight to Marquis Weiser. Andrew panics, warning that the broken lord is basically a hermit, now begging for a few days to set it up properly. Our boy just smirks, stating he doesn't have time to wait around. Besides that, massive donation is already working its magic. Right on cue, a royal knight bursts in, announcing the Lord urgently wants to meet the wealthy VIP who just bankrolled the clinic. Our boy chuckles. Rich people are so predictable. Show up with a briefcase full of cash, and you get an instant invite. As he turns to leave, Andrew calls out, genuinely thanking him not for the cash, but for helping Sister May earlier. Our boy flashes a warm smile and tells Andrew it is genuinely good to see him again. The priest is left standing there, totally confused by the familiar vibe. Hard cut to the Marquis' estate, where the Lord of Knight's Garden looks like a walking hangover. Weiser shakes his heavy head, assuming the kid sitting across from him is just some wandering merchant or a spoiled trust fund baby. He offers a slurred apology for the rush. Our boy silently sizes up the ruined nobleman, remembering when Weiser was a legendary knight, famous across the continent. Back when our boy played as Wilhelm, he personally helped Serenity become a transcendent powerhouse. In sheer gratitude, Weiser swore absolute ride-or-die loyalty to him. He built a reputation as a guy who serves cold steel to his enemies and undying loyalty to his friends. But our MC wonders if the man's spirit is as wrecked as his crippled body. The Marquis, however, skips the small talk, admitting his city is dead broke and trying to cut a deal that works for both of them, which is basically just code for squeezing more gold out of his guest. Our boy isn't playing that corporate game. He locks eyes with the old man and drops the mic, "I will cure Serengeti." The Marquis freezes, then cracks up a dark, twisted laugh. He starts roasting our boy, thinking he's just another leech chasing the bag, banking on the rumor that the Lord makes it rain cash. For anyone who even whispers his daughter's name, the Marquis snaps, demanding the price tag. 300,000, 400,000. The whole damn district. He slams his fist down, shaking the massive oak table to its core, and screams that grifters have already bled him dry. Sick of it all, he barks an order to his royal knight, gouge his eyes out and toss the trash. Our boy doesn't even blink. He calmly says he doesn't want a single copper coin. No miracles guaranteed, but he swears there's a real shot. He can wake her up. The Marquis squints, his bloodshot eyes suspicious. Why would a stranger offer a legendary cure for $0? Our boy leans in, radiating pure boss energy. "I'm not doing you a favor," he says. "I'm paying back a massive debt." As the Marquis looks confused, the MC drops the ultimate bombshell. He claims the title, heir to the Night King, Wilhelm's only successor. He demands to see Serengeti right now, to ask one question. In exchange, he'll save the girl who gave up everything for her master. The Marquis grins like a demon. He notes the whole continent is crawling with delusional clowns, pretending to be Wilhelm's magical heir. Done with the BS, he orders his knights to execute our boy and slaughter his crew outside. A tank of a knight charges in, going for the kill. Our boy just lifts his teacup and casually blocks the death blow. With terrifyingly effortless strength, he shoves the knight back, smashing the fragile cup right into the guy's steel chest plate. Unfazed by the chaos, our boy locks eyes with the stunned Marquis. "Prep the arena," he demands. He's gonna beat the truth into them and prove, once and for all, he's the real deal. Hey, enjoying the heat? Smash that like and subscribe button. It helps me pump out more episodes for you guys. Done sweet, let's dive back in. Cut to the combat arena. In the stands, the casino boss turns to the Snake Princess, totally lost on how they went from a shady clinic visit to a gladiatorial death match in 5 seconds flat. Isabella sighs. The MC has always been a wild card, but even she didn't see this speedrun coming. Down in the dirt, our boy sizes up the threat. He notes the royal knight is dripping in premium gear, blessed by a high-tier priest. This guy came dressed to kill, literally. The knight gets cocky, offering one last chance. "Confess your lies and beg, and I might spare you." Our boy shuts that down. "Just remember your promise to keep my identity secret. When you lose out of embarrassment." The knight scoffs, swears on his honor that's impossible, and lunges in to teach this fake successor a brutal lesson. Our boy weaves past the first strike effortlessly. He calculates that, despite the Grand Expedition's losses, these veteran knights still have way better base stats and gear than him right now. He can't get sloppy. The knight throws a follow-up, but our boy steps into his guard, blocking the heavy sword hilt with his own forehead. Bam! The knight is shook. This isn't a scammer. It's a straight-up maniac. In the VIP box, the Marquis and his guard Lucas watch intensely. Lucas admits the challenger's moves are legit, but the Marquis waves it off as cheap parlor tricks. The Lord thinks back. He's seen too many clowns claiming to be Wilhelm's student, just chasing clout. He fought beside the Night King. He knows Wilhelm's sword skills were beyond human understanding. Unless this kid can pull off a one-to-one copy of that god-tier technique down to the pixel, the Lord isn't buying the hype. Back in the dust, the royal knight decides to be gracious. He admits the protagonist has legit skills. He offers a deal surrender now, and he'll beg the big boss for a pardon, so the kid can join his personal squad. Our boy fires back, calling out the knight's massive ego. For a level 3 noob being carried by a pay-to-win armor set, the knight stammers, getting defensive, claiming the Lord ordered the loadout, but yeah, he admits the stat gap feels totally cheap. Our boy sighs, must be nice, having rich kid toys, then launches a savage kick, straight to the knight's jaw. Enough games, the protagonist declares. He's about to teach a masterclass on item builds. Ding, a system window pops, as he dual wields 2 ultimate iron swords. Pure confusion sweeps the arena. The casino boss and the Marquis are shook. Where did he just spawn those blades from? Our boy charges, driving the knight onto his back foot. The royal guard scans the flurry, calculating the spec's crazy attack speed, but 0 weight behind them. He smirks, figuring as long as he guards his vitals, Those toothpicks won't dent his plate mail. That arrogance gets deleted instantly when the MC switches up the tempo, shattering the guard and burying the knight in the dirt. Standing over his prey, our boy drops the mic. He's about to reveal the real Night King swordsmanship. Cut to flashback, the exact second our boy cleared the Tower of Spirits. A loot table full of S-tier rewards filled the screen, from demon-slaying blades to annihilation gauntlets. But he zeroed in on one thing, the ultimate iron sword. The lore text revealed it was basic trash tier refined to godhood by some weirdo star, giving strength buffs and a free level in sword proficiency. But the real kicker, a glitched set effect that multiplies stats if the user stacks items with the ultimate tag. Since he was already rocking the celestial dragon armor, our boy wondered if the system allowed dupes. He greedily tapped the sword twice. System said, yes. Then the real magic hits. He stacked the weapon master trait, his dexterity stat, the base item buff, and the duplicated set multiplier. His sword proficiency glitched through the roof, hitting level 10 instantly. Maxing it out triggered a secret event in his Star Inheritor class, letting him download the memories of his possessed star and perfectly execute a chunk of Wilhelm's legendary moveset. He was totally lost by the lore dump back then, but now it's the meta build. Back in the arena, the knight is paralyzed with fear. The tables have turned. He tries to kite back, but the insane speed keeps him glued to the spot. He tries to brute force a counter, but the sheer pressure of the technique wrecks his balance. The guard feels like the air itself is against him, wondering if this broken gameplay is even allowed in the server. Narrator drops truth people turn into NPCs. When they see something this impossible, brains go offline, just blank stares, and dead silence. That's the vibe from the Snake Princess and the Casino Boss, to the Marquis and the Shaking Knight. Our boy unleashes the ult, Heaven and Earth Revolution. In a blinding flash of power, he demolishes the defense, pinning the man's neck to the ground. Humiliated, the knight taps out immediately. Our boy glances at the VIP box, shouting at the Marquis, need any more proof. The Lord, totally starstruck, turns to Lucas, voice shaking with hype. He orders his squad to bring the guest up, VIP treatment only, officially acknowledging him as the legitimate heir to Night King Wilhelm. Down in the dust, our boy smirks. Mission accomplished. Scene change, the dark vibes of Serengeti's bedroom. The Marquis looks broken, spilling the tragic backstory. Seeing his daughter trapped in an endless nightmare since the disastrous expedition, the desperate father burned through the entire treasury, spamming gold on legendary potions and S-tier healers, even begging a saint for divine intervention. But the debuff was invincible. Our MC silently triggers his great sage ability, confirming the nightmare scenario. Serengeti isn't just sick, she's hit with a direct curse from the Demon King. No wonder standard holy magic is bouncing off like nothing. But our protagonist calculates that a raw, concentrated shot of star power might just hack the dark magic. He warns the trembling lord that this is a massive gamble with zero promises, but he's rolling the dice. Hovering a glowing hand over Serengeti's pale features, he casts Blessing of the Stars. A holographic system window screams a red alert, warning that his current star power level is way too low to shatter the curse permanently, but it's enough to bypass the lock for now. To the Marquis's disbelief, Serengeti's lashes flutter open, her eyes darting around in total confusion. The Lord scrambles to the bedside, sobbing as he begs for recognition, but her gaze completely ghosts her dad, locking straight onto the shaking man hiding in the shadows. Hudson steps into the light, his voice shattering, as he apologizes for being late to the party. The narrative cuts to the casino boss's tragic backstory. He clung to the delusion that as long as her heart beat, they had a chance. His entire master plan was to grind for a city council seat and return as a Chad worthy of the Marquis's respect. He was ready to be her legs if she couldn't walk, but his hustle culture optimism was just a massive cope. While he was out there chasing political clout, her HP was rapidly dropping to zero. If our MC hadn't literally dragged him here, Hudson would have missed the window to say goodbye forever. The Marquis snaps, demanding to know who this crying random is and why he's staring at his daughter. Deciding to be the ultimate vibe assassin, our boy kills the emotional reunion. He drops the hard truth, the Demon King's curse is just on pause, not deleted. She has a few days of lucidity at best, before she crash lands back into the eternal coma. To actually fix her, he needs to farm way more star power. The protagonist runs the math, realizing his only win condition is recovering the 5 specific stars, his original avatar. Wilhelm dropped his loot when he died. Thanks to his Star Inheritor class grabbing those artifacts, unlocks core memories from his past life. With 1 already in the inventory, he has 4 left to hunt before a rival player snipes them. Knowing the clock is ticking, our boy immediately banishes the Marquis and Hudson to the hallway, demanding a solo session with the patient. Outside, the Lord corners Hudson with an interrogation. The casino boss straightens up, revealing his secret engagement to Serengeti and pleading for a shot. He flexes that he's inches away from the city council, The Marquis looks at him with soul-crushing fatigue. He explains that Hudson's political grind is totally worthless now. The financial black hole caused by the expedition forced the Marquis to beg for a bailout just to keep the life support running. The only whale who answered was Duke Lucian, a terrifying noble with power rivaling the throne. The Duke wired an astronomical loan to save the territory, but with one savage condition: Serengeti is the collateral. The Marquis signed the contract to save his city and guarantee she wouldn't die in the streets. He drops the ultimate bomb on the devastated lover, revealing that in exactly 1 month, Serengeti gets shipped to House Lucian, ordering Hudson to delete her from his memory. Meanwhile, back in the room, Serengeti demands an ID check on the stranger, looming over her. Our boy confidently introduces himself as the official heir to the Night King Wilhelm, claiming he's here to deliver his master's last words. Serengeti calls absolute bluff, fiercely shouting that Wilhelm never took a disciple. Our boy mentally high-fives his loyal knight for spotting the lie, then decides to drop a massive lore bomb to prove his identity. He recites a hyper-specific memory from the day she unlocked her star. She had been terrified that absorbing the cosmic energy and becoming a transcendent would delete her humanity, specifically fearing her love for Hudson would fade away. Serengeti freezes, knowing that emotional breakdown was top-secret info shared only with Wilhelm. Our boy flashes a knowing smirk, reminding her exactly how he handled her panic that day. His version of a pep talk was telling her to shut up and take the power. Just seconds before he yeets her into the abyss, the narrator breaks down just how insane this flashback actually is. See, back in his Pangea grinding days, that toxic move wasn't malice. It was literally just him spamming a default emote macro. A quick control-click combo. But thanks to his Star Inheritor class, unlocking the original owner's point of view, that mindless key smash has been upgraded from code to reality. Now that he's maxed out his sword mastery, that basic keyboard shortcut is retroactively seared into his brain as a 4K ultra-realistic core memory. Pushing her off that edge doesn't feel like a game. It feels like true trauma. And Serengeti, she recognizes that unhinged, borderline psychotic motivation style immediately. That is 100% Wilhelm. You can't fake that level of crazy. Accepting the reality, she eyes his massive glow-up and asks the big question: is he officially a sinner? He doesn't deny it. For the uninitiated, sinners are players who hijack new bodies while keeping their save files intact. But there's a catch. Elite NPC executioners called hunters are programmed to hunt them down like dogs. Serengeti begs him to lay low, but our MC, he literally could not care less about the danger. He leans in face, locking in complete seriousness. He doesn't need safety hints. He needs the truth about what went down. In his final seconds, he has a vivid render of plunging his sword into the Demon King's heart, watching the boss disintegrate into pixels. But right at the victory screen, reality glitched. Time froze and boom, he got slapped with a game over notification out of nowhere. He demands the uncensored logs of his death from the only person who saw it. From her sickbed, the exhausted knight stares at him, her vision swimming until the newbie's face overlaps perfectly with the legendary silhouette of Wilhelm. Cut to the flashback, the Grand Demon World Expedition. Wilhelm leading the charge in the server's biggest raid event. A massive army of 200,000 elites marching straight into the abyss, hype levels off the charts. Everyone chasing that ultimate hero title. They had min-maxed every stat and prepped strategy based on endless data mining. It was supposed to be a pixel-perfect run, with zero margin for error. But reality hit them like a freight train. The scene cuts to a total gore fest, absolute carnage everywhere. A poison priest burns his last HP to buff the vanguard. A knight missing an entire arm screams at his squad to leave him and push the lane. Soldiers are dropping like flies, yelling that they can't choke now. They're getting absolutely farmed before they even touch the Demon King's front door. Then the horror sets in. The enemy is reading their moves like they're stream sniping. Someone on the inside is selling them out to the demons, making the whole raid a suicide mission from the lobby screen. Just as morale hits rock bottom, Wilhelm enters the chat. The martial god slices through the despair, casually telling the bleeding survivors to go away from keyboard while he cleans up. His aura alone turns the terrifying demonic horde into trash-tier mobs. One casual swing, and he literally terraforms the map, shattering the Doom vibes instantly. Camera zooms in on Wilhelm, piggybacking a critically injured Serengeti. She's trying to act tough, insisting she can walk, but Wilhelm shuts that down. He tells her to save her stamina bar, because she's a top-tier asset. He points out that aside from the evacuees, they are literally the last 2 players on the server. The army is wiped. He orders her to survive the run and get home, then starts roasting her about how she spent every night simping and crying over some guy named Hudson. Face turning tomato red, she denies the allegations, but swears she's going back to him. But just as the mood gets wholesome, a massive glowing, violet magic circle spawns right under their feet. Wilhelm instantly yeets Serengeti out of the hitbox, muttering about how the devs really made this game hard mode. He tells her to go live her best life, married or single, as he preps to tank the ultimate. Landed safely in the dirt, Serengeti's mind starts racing. She could just dip. The raid is a total wash. The Night King gave her a direct order to survive, and she could go back to her soft life with Hudson guilt-free. But her loyalty stat is maxed out. Mentally apologizing to her boyfriend, she triggers her ultimate position swap. In a blinding flash, she switches coordinates with Wilhelm, eating the entire magical nuke herself. That's the tragic moment she lost her legs. Snap back to the present-day dimly lit bedroom. Serengeti explains she only tanked that blast because of an SSR tier elixir Wilhelm had dropped for her earlier. Our MC starts sweating bullets. He remembers back when this was just a game he was spamming premium consumables, just for the dramatic flex. She continues revealing that Wilhelm immediately slapped on an extreme. With a stealth cloak draped over her shattered body, she basically ghosted the Demon King's radar. Because of that clutch invisibility buff, she snagged a front row seat to the literal apocalypse. Our MC leans in starving for the tea and she drops the bombshell. Wilhelm absolutely wrecked the Demon King exactly like in the history books. But right at the boss fight's peak, Wilhelm just froze. Like his controller disconnected or time hit a brick wall, the battered Demon King started cackling at the statue-still hero. He actually gave him props, calling Wilhelm a total beast for pushing a demon lord to 1 HP, while wielding 5 stars with 0 divine backing. But then came the gloat without that holy authorization. His core data couldn't be wiped. So as a twisted sign of respect, the demon decided to trash his own broken vessel and forcibly download himself into Wilhelm's pristine body. But just as the possession started buffering, a blinding holy flashbang went off. The Demon King shrieked in pure, unfiltered, salty rage, cursing Goddess Pina to hell and back. He started screaming that this so-called benevolent deity was spawn-killing her own MVP. She was executing her loyal knight just to stop her precious star from getting looted by a demon. Just as he swore to end her, the Demon King got perma-muted. The second Wilhelm's lifeless body hit the dirt, Serengeti drops her gaze, admitting her memory completely blacks out after that. Our boy just sits there, stunned, his brain totally 404ing. The Demon King tried to hijack his avatar, but it was Goddess Pina herself who yanked the Ethernet cable and forced the game over. He's frantically trying to connect the dots on the shady backstage politics behind his supposed heroic sacrifice. But this massive lore dump gets smashed cut as the scene violently shifts to the outer perimeter of Knight's Garden. We catch 2 salty guards aggressively hate-ranting about their garbage patrol shift, crying about late direct deposits, running a skeleton crew, and the territory going totally bankrupt. But their corporate whining comes to a dead stop when they spot a colossal nightmare shadow creeping over the horizon. Pure panic mode activates. They scream their lungs out that a catastrophic monster wave is officially raiding the city. Appreciate you, squad, sticking around till the end. If you vibed with this recap, smash that like button and sound off with your favorite moment in the comments. Catch you in the next one for more absolute madness. Peace out. Eva locked eyes with him and dropped the name Shu. Cut to 3 days later, the East Asian Summit drops a bombshell. An intruder has breached Dungeon City. It's a code red. Guilds from every corner of the globe are getting pinged to hunt this guy down. Meanwhile, Suzaku told Remy to sit tight. Suddenly, the forge erupts in chaos. President, hey boss. The blacksmith just crafted a masterpiece. Shu grips the handle, and the system instantly pings, A-rank sword acquired. Check the stats, air agility charge and mana absorption. Gurun explains the meta charge buffs his damage output, based on how long he holds it. Max charge, we're talking quadruple power for 3 full minutes. Total game changer. Then there's mana absorption. It works exactly like his magic eyes, blocking spells and drinking up that energy. It's honestly a broken build. Shu flashes a grin, impressed by the craftsmanship. Solid work, Gurun. Appreciate it. Suddenly, Raguro storms in, killing the vibe. Hey Hammerman, where's my A-rank gear? Gurun starts sweating bullets, stammering that he's on it. The magic stone is ultra rare, so the guy is practically shaking with performance anxiety. MC runs the numbers on their squad. Team 1 is stacked, Eva, Akito Yachiro, and himself. Team 2 is Raguro leading a dozen berserker maniacs. Pure offensive power. With this power spike, they're greenlit for the Tachibana capture mission. The target location, the Whirlpool's dead center, the gateway to Watatsumi. Step 1 is building an elevator to the dungeon, but let's be real, Tachibana is likely already inside. Today's agenda, strategy meeting at the construction site. Shu heads down the hallway, noticing the contrast. Looks like everyone but the guild leader is still camping out in tents. The meeting is set for the only finished building on the map. Suddenly, a familiar voice hits him from behind. It's been a minute since they crossed paths. I'm Asura. She spins around, raising an eyebrow. The Blood Idols got the invite too, makes sense. Shizuka crosses her arms, looking unimpressed. Does he know Seven and Sanguji are here? We're talking 13 top-tier guilds, all converging just to bag one adventurer. That's the threat level Tachibana represents. She bets he's been farming the dungeon for ages, leveling up and hoarding items to boost his control abilities. MC nods, she's spot on. The longer they wait, the stronger he gets. How many items has he hijacked by now? Meanwhile, Suzaku is strolling through the dungeon with his cultists, lugging a coffin behind him. He admits the place has that S-rank atmosphere. Didn't expect the first floor to be this massive. But the mob's just B-rank fodder, hardly worth his time. Every kill just feeds his power. He waves a hand ordering the slaughter. The monsters turn on each other instantly. Suzaku checks his stats. Manipulation skill is already past level 30. He can micromanage 5 units, or command a battalion of 150. Every fallen enemy just adds to his zombie army. It's a total washout. He needs to locate the floor exit fast before the hero squad catches up. Suzaku studies the mobs. Something's off. In this dungeon, they spawn in coordinated packs, moving like they're following orders. Someone's pulling the strings. Suddenly, a massive magical tsunami crashes in, wiping out the monsters in a single surge. As the water recedes, the battlefield is littered with corpses. Suzaku's followers throw up a barrier just as a boss monster steps out. Revenge, it hisses. For my kin, I won't hold back human. They lock eyes as the water continues to flood the zone. Suzaku analyzes the situation. I get it. This tsunami wiped out East Asia. It also just washed away half his zombie horde. The monster taunts him. You think you can command the dead? Can you handle my numbers? Suzaku sighs, looking bored. This is looking grim. Taking way too long. I'm ending this. Now. Instantly, the heads of his own followers drop to the floor. Suzaku declares he doesn't care if he becomes a demon lord. He triggers his ultimate restructuring. It links him to every entity under his control. Connect, separate, transform. Complete biological manipulation. Suzaku morphs into a grotesque titan stitched together from various parts. The monster recoils in horror. He absorbed their flesh. Is this thing even human? Back at the expedition base, MC walks the halls. The scale of this raid is insane. Japan, America, Korea, India, China, the whole Asia-Pacific server is here. Plus a ton of A-rank guilds. I'm looking at over 10 A-rankers and more than 100 B and C-rank support. Just then, a girl steps into his path, flashing a smile. Welcome, Japanese adventurer. Shu extends a hand, aiming for a polite intro. Nice to meet you, but she shuts him down instantly. I know who you are. I'm Asura. The guy is trending everywhere after all. She gives him the cold shoulder, turning away with a sharp, we're counting on you tomorrow, and leaves him standing there. Senguji ghosts up behind Shu, watching her walk away. So Iran, huh? Master of an A-rank guild. She definitely has the queen bee energy to match the title. You better play nice with her, Senguji warns. Shu shoots him a look. Senguji. The man just smirks. What seekers and healers always get the VIP treatment. Must be exhausting being that popular. Speaking of which, Amasura. Someone points a finger, alerting the horde. Yo, it's him, Mr. Amasura. I binge watch all your content. The guy is totally fanboying. The girl beside him grins, shaking Shu's hand vigorously. Shu forces a smile, thinking, what is even happening right now? Cut to later, he's collapsed on the couch. Social battery at 0%. I'm broken. Fame is a stamina drain. Seven strolls up, saving the day with a cup in hand. Rough life superstar. He hands it over. Here, premium black coffee. Shu jumps up, looking genuinely rattled. Why is everyone obsessed with meeting me? Seven chuckles, sipping his drink. Bro, isn't it obvious? You're going to be the commander. Shu freezes eyes wide. Say what? Meanwhile, miles away. Shizuka inspects a splatter of fresh blood. Guess I slept on his skills, she mutters, staring at a wrecked monster carcass. Still, this is a legendary drop. She reaches out, dark magic swirling, and commands the corpse. Get up. The beast twitches and rises. Forward, Shizuka orders. Back at the base, Shu is spiraling. Me, leading the raid. There are literal A-rank combat gods here. Seven breaks it down calmly. Look, the heavy hitters are always on the front lines, but the guy standing in the back, you see the whole board, allies, enemies, the flow. Who else is better suited to call the shots? Cut to the war room. So Iran addresses the elite squad. I assume nobody has beef with Amasura Shu from Japan leading this expedition. Shu is sweating bullets. They actually made me commander. He never expected Senguji and Shizuka to push for him this hard. Iran locks eyes with him. You look shook. If you aren't confident, walk away now. If you go in there half-hearted, you'll get us all killed. Seven raises a hand, cutting the tension. For the record, Amasura Shu was the raid leader who took down the Dark Elf. That makes him overqualified, right? Iran doesn't blink. I don't doubt the stats. But I won't trust my life to someone who's just going with the flow. If you hesitate, we're dead. Shu stands up abruptly, cutting her off. Iran. I'm in. As leader, I'll process the intel in real time and make the calls on the spot. I've got this. Seven lets out an impressed whistle. Iran nods, satisfied. All right then, let's go where nobody has survived before. They step into the S-rank dungeon Watatsumi. Gurren scans the horizon, jaw-dropping. We're underground, but there's a whole sky and field here. I've never seen anything like it, Eva adds. The scale is insane for just the first floor. Shu inspects the ground. Mud. Is it raining inside? No, something feels off. His gut tells him they need to move fast. The strategy. Each guild splits into 10 squads, spreading out in a massive fan formation to sweep the map. The guild masters hold the center lane, watching everyone's backs and monitoring the karma levels of the zone. Roster check. 7 Red is subbing in for the US Guildmaster. China brought So Aaron. Korea and India deployed their A-rank heavyweights. Japan has Eva and Shu. Gurren is tagging along for emergency gear repairs. But the real reason Shu is commander, it's his history with Tachibana. Shizuka and Senguji are banking on that personal connection. Best case scenario, Shu talks him down and they end this nightmare without a bloodbath. Iran signals Shu, pointing ahead. We've got a trail of bodies. Massive monster kill count here. Exit to the next level has to be close, right? Shu grabs the tablet, scanning the data stream. 7 peeks at the screen. Should we rush that location? Shu's voice is cold and precise. No. We stay on course. One of the guys objects. That makes no sense. The bodies mean he cleared a path through there, right? A girl chimes in. Yeah, even if we don't advance, we should loot the bodies or check for clues. Gurren shuts them down. Trust the boss. He knows what he's doing. Shu turns to the group. The clue is in the dirt. Eva blinks. The dirt, Shu points down. The deeper we go, the wetter the soil gets. I analyze the droplets on the leaves. That's not rain. It's magic residue. And we know a monster that floods everything with water. This is the signature of the beast that caused the tsunami during the breach. It used that same attack against zombie Tachibana. I ran those corpses. Lots of undead, in the pile. Iran nods sharply. Correct. The complainer from earlier laughs nervously. Damn, being an appraiser is basically a cheat code. He sees everything. But Shu's mind is racing. If Tachibana soloed that water monster, then his power level is rivaling the Dark Elf boss. Shu locks in. We follow the water. That's where the target is. He urged the squad to hustle second floor magma belt. 7 scanned the perimeter and muttered, fresh combat traces. The MC's eyes went wide as a colossal crystalline nightmare loomed dead ahead. The girl shrieked golem. The guy panicked. Look at the size of that thing. We're only on level 2. Shu analyzed the stats instantly. Mithril golem. Rank A. Magic resistance. Class D. Physical strength. Equivalent to 2 rank A fighters combined. This is a speed bump. We chain our skills, stack the damage, and knock it flat. The beast charged. MC's HUD flashed running simulations to find the perfect counter for a mithril golem. Wait for my signal, 7 pivoted, grinning. You got it, boss. He extended a hand. Summoning Zenikuras. Hey, go run interference. Keep that ugly thing distracted. Zenokura snapped back. Rude as always, but dashed straight at the monster. Shu noted telepathy. That skill. It links him mentally with anyone he touches. Talk about the ultimate shot-calling ability. MC took charge. Fire and wind combo go. Squad leaders soften it up with the magic stone gear first. If that bounces off, switch to plan B. He signaled the summoner. Eva, you're up. My turn. She nodded, eyes shut tight. Manifest Holy Beast, Fire God Kazuchi. Shu signaled 7 to double down. Copy that. Flame Dragon unleash. The dragon manifested, coiling around the creature and scorching its armor. MC analyzed Mithril Tank's magic like a champ, but its melting point is garbage. We blast it with superheated air, we turn that armor into soup. Cook it until it's just a puddle, Shu yelled. All units fire at will. The squad unleashed hell, completely obliterating the golem. The girl pushed up her glasses, stunned. That was insane. We just steamrolled a rank A monster we've never even seen before. The guy admitted. The intel, the timing. It changed everything. That's the appraiser class buff. After that, they cleared the rest of the mobs, like it was a tutorial. Days blurred. By day 3 in Watatsumi, they finally hit the 3rd floor. A system alert popped Mithril Golem. Controller rank A. The creature's magic stats were low, but its physical strength was double rank A. MC realized Tachibana is here, and he's power leveling like crazy. If he makes it to the 4th floor, he's gonna be so OP. We won't be able to touch him. We have to intercept him now. Irene nodded grim. Agreed. We take him down fast. But, you know Tachibana personally, don't you? What's the history there? Shu replied. About a year ago. I was his mentor. Eva gasped. Shu. Too much info. Irene's eyes narrowed. Wait, you guys are buddies, the girl whispered. Can we really trust his orders then? The man stepped forward. Amasura Shu, what is your actual endgame with this expedition? MC frowned. You don't trust me. Fine. I'll hand over command. But the price is letting me talk to Tachibana. Irene pressed. And what exactly are you gonna say? MC replied. The guy doesn't even understand his own skills yet. The man grabbed MC's collar. Don't play games with us. Prove you aren't gonna stab us in the back. Shin Shizuka drew his blade instantly. Forgive me, but I will not tolerate violence against my master. The man shouted, "You idiot!" Seven stepped up defending MC. "Did you forget how hard he fought to stop that tsunami?" Shizuka added. "If he wanted to doom humanity, why upload all those strategy guides?" Sanguji chimed in. "The info sharing proves he's serious about clearing the dungeon." The man pointed a shaking finger at MC. "That's the issue. What if he thinks clearing this run is easier with Tachibana's power instead of ours? Who takes the fall if he flips on us?" Seven glared. "Forget the chain of command for a second. Why don't we just shut up and watch him talk to Tachibana?" The man glared from under his brow. "You rich nations don't get it. We have a duty to secure these resources for our people." Seven scoffed. "What are you rambling about? We're here to save the human race." "Cut it out," Irene commanded. "He has allies, I get it. Shoo, I'm sticking to you like glue, watching every move. Is that cool?" The man nodded. "Fine. But we're watching him too," the girl added. "As long as the three of us stay in the same squad, I'm in." The man muttered an apology, though he still sounded paranoid about a double cross. "I'll keep eyes on him, but strictly to clear your name." The MC flashed a grin. "Deal. Can't blame him. I'd be suspicious too." He signaled the team to hustle. "Move out, target acquired." Locked onto Shizuku. He tapped his temple, activating his vision. "He's close. Same floor. Practically breathing down our necks. Stay frosty, one wrong step and he'll sense us." "Location," a man barked. Leia cut in. "What's the zombie count?" The MC grimaced. "He's got humanoid variants. Plus, seekers. We're looking at a swarm of 300. The team froze. 300. "You heard me. But get this, they're distracted." He zoomed in. "They're clashing with a female entity. The queen of the undead. She's a shaman class, summoning corpses, just like Shizuku." Shizuka leaned in. "Is she stronger than him?" Negative, the MC replied. "Shamans can puppet the dead, sure. But Shizuku is in a league of his own. Once he hijacks her minions, it's game over. The longer this drags on, the bigger his army gets. But right now, he's burning serious mana fighting that shaman. We strike now. I need 3 A ranks on the boss. Everyone else, you're on zombie control. But first, let me try to talk him down." Iran, hands on hips, scoffed. "You already played that card, didn't you?" One guy tapped his chest. "We're with you." Then Seven Red pointed a thumb at himself. "I'm crashing this party too." Me Three, Shizuka chimed in. The MC scanned the group thinking, "So everyone's riding out." He shrugged. "All right, let's roll." Meanwhile, the battlefield was chaos. Shizuku rubbed his temples. That's the last of her grunts. His eyes darted to a jagged hole above the stairs. A dark grin spread across his face. "Trying to flee. Since when do monsters learn how to run?" "Yeah, shoo." Right on cue, the MC and Eva stepped into the light. Shizuku glared. "The whole gang's here." "Just talking," the MC shot back. "But the cavalry teleports in 5 minutes." Shizuku closed his eyes. "Naive. That's why you can't beat me solo." The MC clenched his fist. "Shizuku, listen. We don't want blood, just surrender. I've analyzed your stats, you're chasing a ghost. There is no skill that brings back a dead mind," Shizuku snapped. "Liar." Suddenly, boom, a beast burst from the earth. The MC screamed, "Incoming, it's the tsunami class." The creature charged a hydro cannon in its palm. Eva raised her blade stance locked. "Divine weapon, fire, God, Kazuchi." The blast deflected the water strike. The MC roared, "Shizuku, please. Listen to me. You can grind 1,000,000 levels, it won't change anything." Shizuku shook his head. "Shoo, I have to believe you're lying. I'm too deep in this hell. There's no U-turn now. I keep walking until I find that power. Just like I have to find those elixir ingredients for Remy." The MC yelled, "Then let me help you find it, I swear. I promise. Serve your time and we'll fix this the right way." Shizuku scowled. "And how long is that? You think Remy's body has time? You think I'll let you waste my clock?" The MC's nails dug into his palm. "Shizuku, I'm begging you, come back with us." Eva cried out, "Shizuku, trust Shu. He just wants to save you." Shizuku rested a hand on the coffin. "I get it." His voice dropped. "In that case, why don't you help me right now?" Suddenly, the monster erupted with black miasma. The shadow shot straight for Eva, forcing its way down her throat. She collapsed, gasping. Eva the MC slid to her side. Shizuku stepped forward, cold as ice. "That's the curse of the dead. She won't make it until your friends teleport in. She's dead in minutes. Unless." He pulled a vial from his coat and tossed it on the floor. Clink. "Tell me, Shu." The S-rank elixir shimmered on the stone, a cure-all for every curse and sickness known to man. Shizuku smirked. "Can you walk away from the one you love? Who gets saved? Your childhood best friend, or your teammate?" Eva clutched her stomach, convulsing on the ground. Shizuku twisted the knife. "Without that potion, she's a corpse in 2 minutes." The MC stared at the vial. "Where the hell did you get that?" Shizuku glanced down at the glowing liquid. Turns out the Watatsumi floor bosses have a 1 to 100% drop rate. He bet everything that the beast he just zeroed would drop a duplicate item. The MC eyed him calculating, "So you're hoarding 3 of those miracle cures now." The guy shot back, dead wrong. He'd already burned the first one testing it on his wife. Turns out the stuff is a total dud on flesh and blood. Pop. He uncorked the vial, holding it up like a trophy. This is number 2. He downed the whole thing in one gulp and wiped his mouth. So, I've only got one shot left to give. Right on cue, Eva buckled, screaming as agony ripped through her. The MC's panic spiked. He screamed her name, mind racing. Wait, we have a medic, he roared at the top of his lungs, Xenochorus. They had to bounce now. He prepped the teleport, but Shuzaku casually flicked his wrist. Not so fast. A massive beast materialized from thin air. Hi there, the summon grinned. It swung a hammer the size of a truck, blasting a shockwave of raw energy straight at them. MC grit his teeth. A dwarf barrier, divine tier magic. You can't teleport out of that. They were trapped in a cage of light. Shuzaku smirked, calling it a souvenir from the second-floor boss. No backup coming. Time to show me who you really love. And who goes to the slaughter? The MC dropped to his knees, cradling Eva, staring at the maniac in total disbelief. Shuzaku tilted his head. Gonna wake up, Remy. She died, saving your hide, didn't she? Isn't that the whole reason you've been hunting this elixir? The MC frowned, cold sweat dripping down his face. Eva's voice cut through the chaos. He snapped out of it, locking eyes with her as she whispered his name. She confessed, voice trembling. She ended her own mother, lost control and took her out. Her dad hated her for it, denied her existence. She never asked for this curse, but the MC, he embraced it. Tears started carving tracks through the grime on her face. She cried out, I finally found where I belong. This was her chance to pay the debt. She reached out, a weak smile playing on her lips. Save Remy. Do it for me. Her hand brushed his cheek before pain convulsed through her body again. She turned away, refusing to let him see her suffer. The MC snatched the potion. He stood up, towering over her. Eva, you're gonna have to forgive me for this. Shuzaku watched amused. The MC cradled Eva's head, tilted it back, and dumped the glowing liquid straight down her throat. Sorry, I hesitated. Before the words settled, her eyes snapped open. He grinned. Wake up. I need your muscle. I need you. I'm toast without you backing me up. She frowned, confusion swimming in her teary eyes. Then she tackled him, burying her face in his chest, sobbing. I'm sorry. The MC let out a heavy sigh. He triggered his scan. Poison status, cleared. She was green across the board. Even with his hacks, he couldn't explain the logic, but the results didn't lie. Shuzaku broke the silence. So you made your play. He nodded slowly. I knew it. We aren't cut from the same cloth, obviously. Energy started surging around him, crackling in the air. Too bad. I can't let you save him now. An army of monsters spawned behind him instantly. Eva didn't flinch. She stepped up, sword raised, Shu back off. Xenochorus slammed his hand against the invisible wall outside. Master Shuzaku laughed, thanks to that drink. My mana and stamina are maxed out. Let's see who's holding the winning hand. Creak. The coffin behind the villain slid open. The MC ran a quick scan. Shuzaku is level 300 plus. That's a 100 level gap. Only the caster can drop a dwarf barrier. What's the play here? A girl stepped out of the coffin, blinking. Darling head snapped toward her so fast it looked painful. She smiled. Shuzaku lost it. Remy. He scrambled over, grabbing her shoulders, desperate. Remy, do you know who I am? The elixir worked. He just had to be patient. But the MC's eyes widened as his scan finished. He pointed a trembling hand. Shuzaku, get away from her. That isn't your wife. Too late. Her hand shot forward, impaling Shuzaku's chest. Clean through. He collapsed, choking out her name as he hit the floor. The squad watched, paralyzed in horror. A system window popped up behind the girl. S-rank Undead Queen. SS class magic. A-rank strength. Skills loaded body mastery, temporary death possession spirit form. A walking nightmare. The barrier shattered like glass. Eva shouted. The dwarf barrier is down. Shuzaku lay there bleeding out in a pool of crimson. The undead queen scoffed. You came all this way just to revive this woman. Pathetic. Human stupidity really has no ceiling. The MC didn't hesitate. He charged and hand extended. Shuzaku Swiron panicked, yelling, Hold up, Shu, why are you fighting? You said 5 minutes and we teleport. Eva screamed. That's not Shu. The MC raised a hand, grimacing. My bad. I didn't think a zombie minion could block my teleport skill. Huge miscalculation. He totally underestimated the guy. Thinking Xenochorus was the teleportation MVP wrong. The boss had already body-snatched the corpse Shuzaku was hauling in that coffin. It was a total ambush. She shattered his defenses and drove a blade straight through his chest. But the brawl was already on. Even if they had to bail, they weren't leaving him behind. Clutching his bleeding chest, the guy screams, Shu, it's over. He's stripped of command. Leia doubles down. That goes for the whole squad. The guildmasters were unanimous on this takedown. The MC clenches his fist, knuckles turning white. He drops the bomb. This freak can hijack bodies. If they don't end Shuzaku right now, that monster is just going to ride him like a meat suit. And then they'd be fighting a possessed Shuzaku. Suddenly, Senguji tosses his cape pure main character energy and mutters, I see. That would be a drag. He levels his blade and 7 red morphs, shifting forms instantly to match the threat. Blink and you miss it. Senguji teleports behind the undead queen, unleashing a devastating strike. She dodges by a hair, but the impact is massive. Huge chunks of the ceiling come raining down from the shockwave. Amidst the chaos, 7 red scoops up Shuzaku's body like a sack of potatoes. Alright, we're ghosting before this place collapses. Sorin signals the MC eyes cold. This ends now. The MC screams Xenokurus. It is all on him to warp the whole crew to safety immediately. An army of undead bursts from the floor, rallying behind their queen. Cut to safety. Shuzaku hits the dirt hard. Kurin checks on Xenokurus. Warping that many people, it completely tanked his mana reserves. He is tapped out. The MC knows the boss is hot on their trail. We are talking minutes before she catches up. They need a fix for Shuzaku fast. He turns to Sorin desperate. Can you patch him up with your skills? She checks him one hand, hovering over his waist. His heart is shredded. That wound is fatal. I can't fix it. And even if I could, I wouldn't. The Underground City and the East Asian Alliance had this hit planned from day one. He was never meant to survive. The MC gapes at her. Excuse me, she shoots back. What, you thought we would just slap cuffs on him and call it a day? Do you know the budget required to hold a manipulator of his level where his powers won't work? It is impossible. Keeping a living weapon like him breathing, zero benefit to anyone. He might be the world's strongest right now, the MC argues. Losing him is a waste. She gets right in his face. We are cleaning up his mess because he turned his power against humanity. Wake up, kid. The MC starts to clap back, but a weak voice stops him. It is Shuzaku. He spins around. Just burn me, Shuzaku wheezes. Don't let her snag my corpse. What, the MC yells, stunned. Shuzaku isn't fighting it, he just wants a final one-on-one with Shu before he goes. Denied, Sorin snaps. No time. Too risky. She powers up her staff, ready to incinerate Shuzaku and his summons right then and there. The MC steps directly in the line of fire. Sorin, stop. He is literally begging you. Her staff hums with lethal energy. Move, Shu. You know we can't leave this loose end dangling. He has to go. Suddenly, energy pulses flare up, but it is not Shuzaku. 7 red steps up. The purple mist joins the chat. Rogoro shoulders, his blade grinning. A samurai exists to serve his lord's dying wish, yeah. The MC blinks, stunned. Guys, Senguji strolls over, cool as ice. The art of analysis owes the 1,000 swords a solid, Senguji says. He doesn't want regrets, neither do we. If we are out of time, we will buy some. Sorin scowls. Ugh, look at all these loyal fanboys. She holds up a hand. 5 minutes. That is all you get. He twitches wrong, I torch him. She brushes past the MC. 5 minutes. Tick-tock. The MC drops to his knees beside Shuzaku. The dying man whispers, I got a question. That girl, the one you saved, who is she to you, really? Does she matter more than Remy? More than the girl trapped in eternal sleep? You dove into that dungeon with zero regard for your own life. Why, the MC doesn't hesitate. Eva is family. She is my guild. Shuzaku pushes harder. If it was anyone else dying, would you waste the elixir? The MC's answer. A cold, hard no. He refuses to pass the buck. He's snagging that elixir solo, and he's absolutely certain he can pull it off. It's on him. Knuckles turning white, he scowls. Trading a friend's life to save Remy, that's a deal with the devil. The laughter would die forever. Suzaku lets out a weak chuckle. You really haven't changed a bit. Smiling through the pain, he reaches a shaking hand toward the protagonist. Shu, please, he chokes out. My wife Remy. You have to bring her body back. Let her, at least, rest in peace. Tears stream down Shu's face. I promise, he sobs, gripping Suzaku's trembling hand tight. Suzaku yanks him close, whispering a final secret into his ear. Then the light fades from his eyes as they drift shut. Suddenly, Siron charges in. Move it, she screams, shoving Shu aside and blasting a torrent of hellfire straight at Suzaku's corpse. She spins around cold as ice. Shu call the retreat. If we look at the bottom line, mission accomplished. The target was to eliminate Suzaku. Everyone knew the score except him. A heavy silence falls. Seiron steps up, admitting the guy was way more overpowered than intel suggested, so she's letting Shu's reckless moves slide this time. But she knows she messed up letting him talk her into it. Pure luck they didn't get wiped out. Monsters aren't the only threats out here. If a stunt like this happens again, she'll flatline the idiot herself. Doesn't matter who it is, anyone compromising the squad gets deleted. She's sure every guildmaster would agree. Later, Shu steps outside. Eva slides up, dropping the tough act. Solid work out there today. She flashes a smile, walking beside him. So, Shu, you good, like for real. About using that elixir on me, Shu shoots her a look. You gonna lecture me too? Just asking, she shrugs. Shu looks down, voice barely a whisper. I was just terrified of losing you. Eva blinks, totally caught off guard. She hides a grin, then looks up at him beaming. Hey Shu, in that case, I'm gonna grind harder than ever, got it. If you wasted that legendary item on a scrub, Remy would haunt us. And I won't let you carry that guilt. Shu smiles back. Deal. I'm gonna work you to the bone then. But Shu learned a hard lesson on this run. The S-rank Watatsumi dungeon is a beast massive and harboring an army of god-tier monsters. He needs a plan to buff the entire guild, not just himself. It can't just be about solo players anymore. And one more thing sticks with him. Suzaku's dying whisper. Shu, listen close. The dungeon monsters. They evolve every time they kill a human, which means he can't let a single person die. Not if he wants to protect the crew. Understood, Suzaku. 2.5 years later, the dungeon city is live. It's May 3rd, 2024. Adventurers are buzzing in the lobby. Check it out. A city built literally in the ocean. Limitless potential. Can you believe they constructed this beast in just 2 years? And they aren't even done yet. But yo word is only A-rank guilds and up get access. Give it time. It'll go public soon. Shu stands silently nearby, blending into the crowd, thinking, the real raid on Watatsumi starts now. Back then, he was powerless. He tried to play hero alone, and it almost cost him a friend. He couldn't save Suzaku. That final request still haunts him. Bring Remy back. He still hasn't done it. Moments later, Seiran takes the stage. The crowd quiets down as she announces her new title. Head of the Underground City Division. I'm Seiran. I will do everything to uphold the honor of the guild masters and the alliance that voted me in. I'm dedicating my life to clearing Watatsumi. Suddenly some randoms spot Shu and start whispering. Yo, wait, isn't that Shu, the Art of Analysis's guy? Dude hasn't uploaded a vid in 2 years. Probably punishing himself for the Suzaku mess. Either way, surprised, his guild even got an invite. He used to be famous, sure, but that's ancient history. One guy sneers. Bet he blew all his YouTube cash already. Unfair man. We grind daily just to stay here. And this washed-up creator just waltzes in. Suddenly, they yelp as 7 Red heavy hands their shoulders. 7 Red 1 screams. The big guy grins down at them. So, since you're standing here, you must be A-rankers like me, right? Any of you guild masters? Nah, didn't think so. I tend to remember the ones who actually matter. Do these clowns know the level requirements for this city? They're only high tier at trash-talking the guildmaster. Want to see if you can survive his workload? The rookies panicked and begged for mercy. 7 Red just sighed, waved a dismissive hand, and told them if they have energy to yap, they have energy to grind levels. They mumbled apologies and scattered like roaches. With the noise gone, 7 Red locked eyes with the MC. Still online, huh? This brings us back to the appraiser 2 years ago. Riguro ripped his blade from its scabbard. Schwing. One massive slash decimated a whole row of timber in front of him. He counted off 1, 2, 3, boom. You were a little too eager to say hello, weren't you? My lord. He spun around, flashing a grin at the protagonist. So to what do I owe the pleasure? If you need a tank for a raid, I'm yours. The MC looked down serious. Riguro, I need a favor. Train me. Sure, his stats are trash compared to an A-rank beast like 7 Red, but his combat IQ, that's god tier. It proves who the real swordmaster is. You want to get stronger? Riguro threw his head back and bellowed a laugh. My lord, consider it done. Sishu was the underdog. Paper-thin defense. 0 combat skills. His physical strength was laughable. Even with a high player level, he was physically weaker than basically everyone else. Inside that dungeon. Cut to now, a massive behemoth erupts from the earth. The MC doesn't panic. He activates blindness. He launches into the air, flipping mid-jump, but spots razor-sharp spikes rocketing toward him from the monster's hide. Inner monologue. Oh crap, but in a blink, Riguro teleports in front of him, his blade a blur shredding the incoming spikes. He slashes the beast wide open. That was a feint, Riguro warns. It waited for you to lose balance before launching a projectile. No appraisal skills allowed. Use blindness. Read the flow. Make the call instantly. Without that, the MC is toast. Riguro flashes a grin. Next time, you're on your own. The MC nods breathless. Understood, sensei. Blindness isn't about not seeing. It's hyperspatial awareness. Predicting the enemy's next move by reading their muscle twitches. 0 reliance on system assists. That's how a squishy appraiser with no strength and no mana can actually survive a melee brawl. Later, Riguro watches the MC dive back into the fray against the monster. Kid's actually got talent, he mutters, stroking his beard. His decision-making speed, it's leveled up insanely fast. The body just had to catch up to the brain. He lets out another hearty laugh. The samurai, a romanticized relic of a bygone era. Flashback to Riguro, holding his blade screaming at the sky. What does a man truly desire? Riguro is built different. He was obsessed with one thing, pure power. Getting stronger wasn't a goal. It was an addiction. He'd do anything to get it. When the dungeons opened and the system appeared, it was like a divine gift for a battle junkie like him. Cut to the protagonist, standing under a heavy waterfall shivering. Sensei, what exactly is this training for? Riguro smirks. Training. Who said it's training? The MC blinks confused. Riguro puts hands on hips. It feels like training though, yeah, just imagine if getting soaked in cold water Actually made you buff. Man, I wouldn't have to work so hard. The MC starts toweling off, deadpan, so he's just slacking off. Riguro walks up, demeanor shifting. Hey, my lord. In my whole life, I've only ever admitted defeat to 2 people. The MC pauses. Oh yeah, that giant guy Riguro smiles. Nah, I beat him eventually. Doesn't matter if I lost 100 times. If I win the last fight, I win the war. The MC presses. Then who beat you? Riguro's eyes go dark. Shizaku. The moment I saw him, I knew. I was outclassed. Nothing I did would matter. But while I was shaking in my boots, the weakest man there, he didn't even blink. He actually said he wanted to save me. That was it. Total defeat. Suddenly, Riguro drops his sword and kneels. The way of the samurai is found in death. I never thought an old dog like me would find a master worth serving. Whatever you desire, my lord. My blade will make it happen. Whoosh, shadow clones surround the MC. Riguro grins. Now, back to the grind. We don't stop until your body moves before you even think. The MC slings his towel over his shoulder. You got it, sensei. He tosses the towel and steps up. Meanwhile, cut to Senguji in the gym. Dripping with sweat, he glares at Eva. What are you doing here, running errands for your boyfriend? She steps into the light. So you have a private dojo. Gotta admit I didn't expect this. He stared at the blade in his grip, the steel glinting. With a shrug he muttered that a little warm-up session wouldn't hurt. But this wasn't for kicks. Eva locked eyes with him. She'd clocked that secret technique, that burst of divine ability. She knew he was hiding. She tracked him down for one reason, to force him to teach her the divine origin. He blinked, genuinely caught off guard. Then the sass came out. Since she didn't book an appointment, he figured this was off the books. If she wanted divinity lessons, why not go pester the all-knowing appraiser? She snapped, screaming that it wasn't enough. She knew his mastery of that skill meant one thing. He was on a whole other level. Miles above her. She clenched her fists until her knuckles turned white. She was done watching him bleed. Done letting him sacrifice himself to cover for her weakness. Sanguji just stared, stunned by the intensity. She pressed a hand to her heart. Desperate. She wasn't asking anymore. She was demanding. He had to teach her. His answer, hard pass. He spun on his heel, waving his sword dismissively, and sighed. He hated drama. Doing favors for Shu was one thing, but training her, that was a zero-profit venture. Wham! She instantly triggered Kazuchi's spirit summon, launching an attack. Sanguji didn't even flinch, just casually blocked it with his blade. She scowled. How about high stakes then? A duel. One-on-one. The loser has to grant the winner's wish, no questions asked. He rolled his eyes. Absolutely not. Besides, she'd clearly been reading way too many comic books. She shot back, asking if manga was actually that interesting. Did he live under a rock? He was totally lost. She cut to the chase. She needed power. He studied her face for a long, silent moment. Then he turned his back. Fine. Challenge accepted. Her eyes went wide, but before she could react, a sly grin crept across his face. But was she absolutely sure? She knew how these bets ended in those spicy adult magazines, right? She'd get jealous. She shrieked, face burning red. What the hell? That is straight-up harassment. But in a flash, Sanguji's blade was already at her throat. Eva froze, terror washing over her. She lowered her weapon. Game over. She dropped to her knees, realizing the gap between them. That wasn't just a cheap shot or a surprise attack. She simply couldn't track his speed. He was a monster. He casually rested the sword on his shoulder, looking down at her. Time to pay up. What should he ask for? Oh right, he's got it. She is officially his new apprentice. She looked up, confused. He added a caveat, he's not running a daycare, so she should come back when she's not such a brat. She screamed, no way, he shrugged, figuring this was the perfect way to make sure Shu owed him a massive favor. And for the record, he doesn't actually hate manga. Meanwhile, over at the Guild Union HQ in Dungeon City, the receptionist beamed. Akito and Yachiru, the dynamic duo. What could she do for them? Akito flashed a charming smile. They needed a pass for Watatsumi. The worker raised an eyebrow. 2 B-rank adventurers. Impressive. They were knocking on the door of A rank. Killing it at such a young age too. Akito laughed awkwardly, scratching his head. Oh, stop it. Seriously. They might be young, but they were specialists in analysis and battle-hardened veterans. Yachiru sighed, telling him to quit inflating his ego. The worker confirmed their stats were solid enough for the dungeon's first floor, but warned them to stay sharp. You never know when things will go sideways. A flash of light later, they stood on the first floor. Akito scanned the horizon. Was this the rendezvous point? Yachiru pointed a finger. Yup, dead ahead. That's the Zenakura teleport signature. Akito squinted. You never really know what kind of 4D chess the guildmaster is playing. Yachiru brushed her wind-blown hair back. Admitting he was acting weird today, she was about to theorize why when her jaw dropped, Thomas appeared, bringing a level 5 kid to an S-rank dungeon. Flashback to the protagonist's office not long ago. Akito had asked if he was a newbie. The MC chilling at his desk confirmed it. Just found the guy. He wanted them to drag him to Watatsumi's first floor. Yachiru asked for his class. The MC replied simply, "He's a fisherman." Back in the present, Zenokura grinned, thanking them for the escort. He introduced himself as the spirit butler, serving his client Shu. No need to panic, folks. He'd handle security. Yachiru muttered that the guildmaster really skimped on the briefing. Akito stared at Thomas, totally baffled. What kind of psycho brings a child to a dungeon? Zenokura pulled out a sleek case. Who knows, but the boss entrusted this to the kid. Akito reached out. A briefcase. Suddenly, Thomas stepped up, declaring it was his property. He snatched the case right out of Zenokura's hands and dumped it on the sand. Akito bristled. "Hey, rude much." Then Thomas popped the latches and Akito's eyes nearly popped out. "A fishing rod," Yachiru gasped. It was pulsating with mana, and that line was pure mithril. Akito looked at her deadpan. So the intel was real. He's actually a fisherman. Without missing a beat, Thomas equipped the rod and cast the line straight into the water. Akito stared, losing his mind. "You're seriously fishing in a dungeon? Hey, what's the catch here?" Getting zero reaction, his frustration spiked. "Is this guy seriously ghosting him?" Yashiro smirked, calling him out like a teammate, then suggested they lock in. Focus. The guildmaster wasn't the type to hand out busy work without a master plan. She raised her staff. Boom, barrier spell activated. "All right," she announced. "Anything under A rank won't touch us now." Now the waiting game begins. Suddenly, Thomas whipped his fishing rod back. Akito blinked, staring at him. "You actually hooked something." Yashiro couldn't hide her shock. Akito stared at the creature, flopping in the kid's hand. "The hell is that?" Thomas deadpanned. "A fish. Is this kid for real?" Akito shot him a dirty look. "Listen up, rookie. Show some respect to your elders." Thomas didn't flinch. Shu said, "There's no hierarchy here. We're all equals." "Does that mean they're on the same level?" Yashiro stepped in, clapping a hand on Akito's shoulder. To cool him down, he sighed, shaking his head. "Relax. He's not trying to roast you." Breaking the ice, Akito sat down next to Thomas. "I'm Akito." The kid nodded back. Yashiro joined the circle, introducing herself. "Nice to meet you, Thomas." Their orders were to protect the kid, so they might as well vibe. Thomas cast his line again. "Nice to meet you too." Then the kid dropped a bomb. "Shu's totally nuts, right? He just barged into my house to recruit my big sister." Akito froze. "Wait, his sister," Thomas continued. "He bowed his head to a broke kid like me, begging me to join." Akito cracked up. "Yeah, that guy's unpredictable. But he's a legend. Even when he loses, he never actually fails." 1 month later, Akito slumped on the beach, totally over it, fishing, every single day. Yeah, big fish. But what's the endgame? Meanwhile, Xenokuros lounged like a king, hands behind his head. "Treat it like a vacation, Akito." Akito rolled his eyes. "You adapt way too fast." Suddenly, Thomas glowed golden. Leveled up again, the system window popped up in midair. Thomas, 11 years old, class fisherman, level 30, mana 310, strength 310, skills fishing, level 7, guide, level 5, storage, level 3, luck, level 1, splash. The ocean yanked him forward. "Akito, help." Akito dove for the rod. "I'm coming." Hands shaking, veins popping, they gritted their teeth and hauled a massive turtle to the surface. Akito gasped. "What in the world?" Flashback. She clutched the charred skull tight. The boss of the 3rd floor. Watatsumi, queen of the undead. 2 years ago, she absolutely wrecked their expedition. And now she controls the bosses of the first 2 floors. Shizaku's defeat made them her puppets. And there's a darker truth. They cremated Shizaku in the dungeon, but his remains are still down there. The queen can't possess him, because his power is too immense, but she's draining ability from his bones. Back in the command center, the protagonist pressed his hand against the glass. Humanity isn't ready for the 3rd floor. Ranked adventurers level 90 and up just established S rank for the elite. Only 7 people in the world hold that title. 5 belong to one guild, and they refuse to help Dungeon City. How did the world's strongest guild end up stacked with monsters, friend or foe? He needs answers. Back on the beach, the boys stared at the beast. "Whoa," Akito jumped back, dragging Thomas with him. "What is that thing?" Thomas shrugged. "Sea turtle." Akito snapped, hands on hips. "No, I mean it's gigantic," Yashiro frowned. "Was capturing this thing the master's plan all along?" Xenokuros eyed the turtle. "Now what? Call our dear client Shu. Let's pack it up." Akito grabbed his windbreaker. "I'm checking it out first. It looks tame." He scaled the shell, spotting a massive crystal glowing in the center. "What's this A-gem?" He touched the crystal and vanished. A scream ripped through the air. Yashiro panicked. "Xenokuro's status report," he pointed. He climbed up, said it was empty, and poof. Yashiro turned pale. "We need to find him. Call the master, contact HQ." Thomas stepped up, voice steady. "Calm down. He's back." Boom, Akito materialized right on top of the turtle shell. Yachiru lost it, screaming, "You're finally back." "You total idiot," she scolded him while he apologized, profusely hopping down onto the sand. Thomas walked up confused. Yo, what went down? Akito explained. That weird rock on the shell. It's a warp gate. Moment, I touched it. Bam, I woke up in some ancient temple. Saw a twin stone there, tapped it, and it zipped me right back here. He figures he needs to brief the guildmaster as soon as possible. Yachiru turned to Zenikuru's. Hey, can you mass teleport us and the turtle out of here? Suddenly, a massive energy spike hit her. She spun around, eyes wide. No way, Akito frowned. What's wrong? She stammered. My barrier. It just got shattered. One hit. Akito blinked, stunned. One hit, are you serious? There's no monster on this floor that hits that hard, Zenikuru realized. That leaves only one option. It wasn't a beast that broke the shield. Enter Roland Morrow strolling up to them with pure swagger. Low, hands on his hips, he sneered. Ah, I see. Just a couple of small fry. Akito instantly raised his blade. Identify yourself, Roland stepped closer, dismissive. You guys, you can scramble. You bore me. I'm here for the brat and that turtle. He smirked, eyes cold. You didn't think I was asking permission, did you? Akito glared. Actually, yeah. Blur of motion. Roland breezed past Akito before he could blink. Akito spun around. What the? Roland pointed a finger at Thomas. Yachiru screamed, channeling everything she had. Reinforced barrier Senoroth, but Roland just punched right through it like paper. Thomas was exposed. Yachiru gasped. What? He smashed the ultimate barrier in one shot, Akito roared. Fire sword. His weapon erupted into flames. It was a custom blade forged from magic ore designed for one purpose: to amplify his pyrokinetic abilities to the max. By syncing the fire sword with his fire monster cores, he could unleash devastating power. He swung, screaming, burning phoenix. Roland just swatted the fire away with his hand like it was a fly. Kinda warm. The group froze, terrified. Akito stood there, mouth open. What? Yachiru turned to Zenikuru, panicking. Warp us out, right now. Can't do it, Zenikuru grunted. He jammed the space with a nasty field. Roland grinned. Smart turtle. Nobody leaves. He activated a skill, the art of analysis. Akito realized. Wait, he targeted us specifically. He knows our guild. He's been stalking us this whole time. That means he knows about the boss's evaluation. He thinks he can pull this off and hide from the guildmaster. Roland cackled. So what? You gonna cry about it? Listen up, kid. The only ones running this world are me and my crew. So shut your mouth. You weakling, he clenched his fist. Skill activate slave level. Clang. Akito's sword hit the dirt. Akito stared ahead, paralyzed, then face-planted into the sand. What the hell? My body. It won't move. Roland beamed down at him. See, when the level gap is this massive. My slave level pressure just crushes you. I'm roughly 70 levels above you, kid. You're powerless. Yachiru cried out, but Roland snapped. Back off, girl. Akito whispered to Zenikuru, I'll buy us time. He figured since Roland hadn't spammed that skill, it must have a limit. Single target lockdown only. Zenikuru nodded. We've got one shot. Roland stepped closer. Pointless. With your trash levels. You can't scratch my barrier, and your teleport is offline. Told you there is no escape. Roaring. Akito blasted a torrent of flame right at Roland. Not on my watch. Roland thought, just a fire blast. No, it was a fusion of fire cloak and burning phoenix. Using the explosion for propulsion, Akito launched himself right into Roland's face, but Roland caught the fist effortlessly. Too slow, and so damn stupid. Roland looked bored. Bam! A punch straight to Akito's chest. Akito went flying backward, coughing up blood. Roland shook his hand out. That actually stung. He turned around, empty space. Wait. Where did they go? The barrier is still up. So, where are they? Akito started wheezing a laugh from the ground. Funny, right? Doesn't matter if I beat you. This is my win, loser. Roland's face twisted in rage. You die. Pathetic worm. He swung his fist for the kill. Clang. The protagonist blocked the strike with his blade. Akito looked up, vision blurry. Guildmaster. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew was safe on the turtle shell. Yachiru screamed. Akito stammered, boss. Watch out, he's transforming. The MC drops to one knee beside his battered ally, eyes soft with relief. You saved them. Everyone's safe. But the tender moment is shattered instantly. Analysis. Freak Roland sneers, his voice dripping with venom. How the hell did you? MC spins around, cutting him off with cold fury. Hey, what exactly did you do to your own squad? Flashback moments earlier, Zenikuru screamed. Master, we've got a code red. Ichiro chimed in breathless. Master Akito, he's... MC silenced her with a raised hand. I saw it. I know. His tactical mind raced. The barrier didn't block the turtle's warp. It was just a dome open at the bottom, which meant the deep-sea temple warp was still active. Zenikuru could blink them straight up, bypass the dome's edge diagonally, and loop back through the temple's gate. We're saving Akito, MC declared. Zenikuru's full release. Now, the beast shimmered, shifting into his human avatar. As you wish, Master. Dark realization hit the MC. Beasts aren't the only predators out here. Anyone standing in his way, dead. He'd crush anything threatening his crew. Back to the present. Yachiiro sprints forward, tears streaming down her face, panic in her voice. Hang on, I'm healing you right now. Thomas steps up, voice thick with gratitude. Akito manages a weak grin. Don't mention it. That's what a senpai does. Roland stomps forward, clapping slowly. Can we cut the heartwarming reunion crap? Don't know what cheap trick you used to breach the barrier, but being a guildmaster sounds exhausting. Always cleaning up after your brats. MC steps in, eyes cold. Is that how a knight speaks? Just wagging your tail for a master, Akito has 10 times your strength. Roland just smirks, locking eyes with him. MC presses on. Roland S. rank. World Seeker. What's the endgame here? Shut up, you useless appraiser trash, Roland roars, launching a massive haymaker. Clang. MC catches the fist on his blade effortlessly. Pathetic Roland. Roland leaps back, mind reeling. He blocked me. No, just a fluke. He winds up for another strike. He's going for a feint. MC sidesteps, then weaves again. Untouchable. Akito watches, jaw dropped. Unreal, Akito mutters, clutching his head. Look at those moves, Xenochorus grins. Master is in a league of his own. It's like he's reading the future. MC dances around the attacks, his mind a HUD of information. Precognition reveals the intent. Clairvoyance highlights every muscle twitch, every shifting tendon. Bird's eye view grants total battlefield awareness. And finally, evaluation. Exposes every single hidden stat. Bam! MC drives a fist straight into Roland's jaw, planting him in the dirt. Why? No sword. Roland gasps. Because MC replies coldly, I would have killed you. Roland scrambles up, pointing a trembling finger. You idiot, he charges blindly. Idiot. MC counters. I see everything. A brutal kick sends Roland flying. You didn't earn that level up, did you? You're juicing on outside power. The system window pops up, glowing ominously. Roland. Class Knight. Level True, 77. Boosted to 154. STR, 1800. 40 out of 3000. 380. Mana 3500. 80 out of 8200. Skills, Chivalry 31, Steel Heart 29, Fury Release 27, Strike 25, Lightning Strike 23, Rock Break 21, Night of Fury 19, Soul of Fire 18. Condition, Rank Link. Answer me, MC commands. But Roland's mind drifts back to the beginning, to the betrayal. We think you should leave, his guildmate said, offering a pitying hand. It's better this way. Roland was their tank, their vanguard, but he was reckless, always rushing in, always getting crushed. We don't need your protection anymore, the leader scoffed. The team nodded. Do you know how much mana we waste healing you? You're a money pit. The potion costs alone are bankrupting us. You're out. But protecting them was his life. He took the hits with pride. He didn't care about the pain. Yet they threw him away like garbage. He tried so hard. He just wasn't strong enough. Later, drowning in booze and self-pity, a shadowed figure slid into the seat next to him. They're wrong, the stranger whispered from beneath a hood. You are strong, Roland, but dying in shame. Never tasting victory. Is that the legacy you want? I didn't think so. Is this guy for real? He's guaranteeing him absolute power. Soon he'll know the addictive rush of drawing blood, a thrill reserved only for the winners. Boom. Just like that, his stats skyrocketed. He smashed the guy standing in his way, leaving his old squad screaming, no way, that's impossible. Wait, isn't he a tank meat? Shields aren't supposed to deal damage like that? But the mystery villain whispered exactly what he wanted to hear. I can make you a god among men. Roland, join me. That was the offer. If he sided with this stranger, nobody would ever treat him like trash again. Because in this world, might makes right. Snap back to reality. The MC stares him down, demanding answers. Who gave you that juice, Roland? Roland spits back. I ain't done yet. He snaps his hand open, flashing a storage ring on his palm. Rare loot right there. Our MC clocks at immediately dimensional storage. In a flash of light, Roland equips a heavy sword and shield, ready for round 2. Roland screams that his path was the only way that he made the right choice. But our hero triggers his skill, shaking his head. Nah, bro. You got it all twisted. You're dead wrong. The MC catches Roland's strike like it's nothing, while the traitor roars about his newfound power. I humiliated everyone who called me useless. Strength is the only truth. But the protagonist isn't buying that toxic mindset. Real power exists to protect the weak. If you actually trained, a knight would be one of the strongest classes in the game. But you wasted it on a grudge. Clang. The MC shatters Roland's blade in one strike, and the traitor hits the dirt completely broken. Fight's over. MC tells the squad, good hustle, let's head home. Cut to the guild office where the intel starts pouring in. A subordinate reports that Roland is in custody with the Dungeon City police, but the guy's tighter than a vault door. He isn't snitching. The Church of St. Lint, total denial. We don't know him. They ate the fine, but the MC looks suspicious. Was Roland a rogue agent or following orders? No way to tell. But things are about to get spicy. They've got to sit down with the church in a few days. The protagonist leans on his desk, the tension rising. St. Lint isn't just any guild. They're the only S-tier organization on the planet, and they've ghosted every single alliance request from Dungeon City. Total isolationists. They are basically ghosts. Will the MC actually get FaceTime with their boss? Suddenly, his assistant breaks the silence. Hey, haven't you been dodging your level update? She looks at him sideways. It's been forever since you hit up Guild HQ to refresh your stats. She grins, betting he's massive now. I bet you're over level 300, aren't you? The MC chuckles. Come on, don't hype me up that much. The world record is only 238 held by that St. Lint guy. Curious, he finally pulls up his system interface. The blue screen pops up and even he freezes. Level 4, 128. Okay, maybe she wasn't exaggerating enough.